Better?
This should be good.
People hear me?
This should be good.
I had some good riffs, you guys.
Oh,
missed.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about how the voice is an important instrument. And now you can hear, and this is actually perfect, right? Because if you only heard the voice through your left ear your whole life, you'd go insane.
Would you?
I think so.
Is that like when you don't touch a baby?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like your mom doesn't
insane.
talk to you. Yeah, yeah. There was this science fiction book I really liked that I'm don't press me on any details. I don't have them.
Okay.
But part of it was that it was during World War II, and to make babies. All right, now I'm not listening to you if you say something more about the sound. I don't know.
Do I still need to be louder? Freak Scene will never touch a baby.
I will never touch a baby.
Safe. That's a safe.
Disgusting. I don't like the way they smell. People say that you're supposed to like the way they smell. Okay, so they leave these babies. They're trying. It's the British are trying to. They realize if you just leave a baby alone in total isolation, it will start speaking the language of devils.
Oh.
And become magic.
Oh, and that's why they tell us they die. Right, and so that like in reality, right, when there's like if you don't touch a baby, it'll die.
Yeah. Is that we will actually die because the babies, if you leave them alone, the devil gets his claws in them. It's only through incredible Christian speech to the baby.
Makes
Talking at all is inherently a Christian act. It's the act of giving, and so it makes the babies pure. And
was this book science? You said not to press you. Is it science
okay? I will.
Christian.
It's coming a little bit more. Well, I kind of looked at it as Christian, but I think it was called Bitter Seeds.
Okay.
It's honestly, it was cool.
That
World War II.
Christian.
Yes, bitter seeds of Christ. Okay, so World War II, the Nazis are developing superheroes. They're like they did a Magneto. Like they did the Holocaust so hard that they created Superman.
But they tried to, because Magneto was they didn't try.
It was
they didn't mean to get a Magneto.
They didn't mean to do Magneto. It's like if they meant to do Magneto, but the same thing happened. They like freak out, and then the British are like shit. So then they start leaving these babies alone so they can get warlocks. And
okay, I love this.
Honestly, it's sick as fuck. I wonder if it holds up. I was obsessed with it in high school. It was really cool.
Do you know, have you ever read Clans of the Alphane Moon?
No.
It's Philip K. Dick, but it's from before he was like important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he was just sort of writing like trashy pulp novels.
Yeah. Like Dime Store.
It's the most divorced book I've ever read in my life. I love it, but it's fucked up. The premise of the book is that we've colonized the moon and we've sent all of the mentally ill people to the moon, and they've organized their own society on the moon. And so there's like for people, and this book's from like the early 60s, so it's got a very like primitive understanding of mental illness.
Right. It's a little One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest kind of vibe. Like it's
less sympathetic than that. It's more like these people. We were right to do it.
It's like, well, if there's not, you got to lobotomize them if there's no other options.
It's very so like a guy gets sent to the moon. He's just been divorced. He gets sent to, or he's like going through a divorce. He gets sent because it's Philip K. Dick. There's always a divorce. Goes to the moon, and there's like Hitlerville. It's like that's for the paranoids. It's like every different mental illness
has their own,
and it's named after the most prominent figure in history with that mental illness. So there's like a Hitlerville, and they're not genocidal. They're just extremely paranoid. Right. But then they become genocidal because that leads to that. And
who are do you know any? I really want to know the other ones.
Cotton Mathers was one of them. And I think that was like avoidant or something. It was like or depressive. Yeah. I think Gandhiville was one of them.
I think too passive.
I think the assertion that Philip K. Dick was making was that Gandhi was like schizoid or something, which is like that. I don't think is fair.
I mean, it's extremely Philip K. Dick to be like, yeah, Gandhi was fucking schizoid.
But and then the whole thing. So he goes there and there's like a war happening on the moon, and then he finally figures out that he and his wife's results got switched, and his wife was the one who should have gone to the moon. Oh. Because all ex-wives are crazy.
Right.
That's like the end of the book.
That is also. I'm curious. Does he feel like he's so addicted to Benzedrine at that point that it's like I haven't read a lot of early Philip K. Dick, but I wonder, is it less like I'm typing this in one day?
No, it's very. I'm typing.
It's maybe more so.
Well, it's because especially like the schedule he was on at that point was just like, you've got to like, for the month of April, we need 10 yellow paperbacks.
Yeah, right. And you're just like, if the faster you do them, the more like soup you get to eat. Yeah, totally.
It feels extremely first. There's like, he has an affair at one point, and it's just like 2 pages, and
It's like he clearly was just having an affair and was like, I wonder what, I didn't need to get this shit out. You know,
it goes nowhere. It's one of those, like you're reading it. It's like, oh, this affair is going to come
back. It's like
back.
a diary. Yeah. Well, I mean, it really brings us to our topic tonight, which is, much like this is kind of one of the areas. Our topic is pretty pictures, but sometimes I think writers create the prettiest pictures of all with their words.
And they've got 1,000 of them.
And they've got 1,000. I mean, you're an artist. You're a visual artist.
I'm a visual
but
artist.
you can only work so fast.
Oh, and I don't go that fast.
And frame by frame is the fastest you can work. I mean, you can get the computer involved, but then it kind of loses
its charm.
It does, right? I mean, we don't have to say
everything's in Flash.
Yes, But then a writer, I mean, can go. They can make 1 million. They can frame by every word is a frame.
So I've worked in both. Like I've worked in starting with the image and then starting with the script. And I'm such a jackass when I'm starting as a writer.
Sure.
Even knowing it's like I'm the one who's gonna have to draw this later. I'll just go nuts with they're on the anti-moon. It's I'll figure out what that looks like later. But if I'm drawing it first, it tends to just be like, oh, Swanboy and Noel are just talking to each other.
And you got to do it. You got to do it normal sauce. Totally. Well, folks, I mean, that's really what we're asking for tonight. Are your thoughts on pretty pictures? Do you have pretty pictures you enjoy? Ones that you wish they could make, but the AI isn't filling it in right. You know what I mean?
Have you used the AI? This is a judgment for you.
No. I'm curious your take on it as an artist. My whole thing with AI is I think anyone who's that super impressed with it is like a little bit telling on yourself, where it's like
a lot.
Yeah. Where you're like, oh my God, I didn't know you could have an imagination and put it into practice in a meaningful way.
It's I've seen it used in ways where it's like, yeah, I guess what else would do it but that I saw somebody had cleaned up an entire season of Ed and Eddie that didn't exist elsewhere, and they used AI to upscale the images.
Was it an unfinished season or something?
No, it's finished. It's just that there's no high def because nobody takes care of cartoons. There's no high def.
Thank you, Benedetto, for the Prime stuff. That's a fun part. You do a podcast, but here it's live, so you have to thank them every time that it's like,
oh, thank you,
right? Because it's imagine, because you guys have a Patreon, right?
We do.
Imagine you had to thank them in real time on the podcast, oh, thank you for subscribing, and then you had to call out their name.
I would lose my mind.
I know. I mean, that's sort of but then if you don't do it, they stop doing it. It's a paradox.
And that's money, though, right?
And that's money.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Grovel for them. Thank you so much.
AI upscaled movies are heretical. I think I agree with that. I'm not saying we should be AI upscaling stuff, but I think for media or so, it seemed fine. It seemed fine. I can't think of any other uses for it.
I'm that makes sense. I'm if it looks marginally better and it literally doesn't exist, and I'm trying to understand is I see that as an actual application if I'm an art historian and I'm and I'm thinking the Mona Lisa looks good. I want to see if there's any other bitches in the photo, and then and then there isn't,
Well, I've been seeing a lot of this lately. People are well, what if we could see the rest of it?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It doesn't look good.
I know it looks like shit. It's someone said it. There's not Mona Lisa. It's so her bottom half looks like a sludge monster, and then it's more sky.
Well, you get more sky now. She looks so small. That's stupid. Now she's a little clown.
That's sort of he could have painted that, I guess, but he didn't because it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's I think Da Vinci knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that's a way shittier picture that looks stupid. So that's why he could have done that. Yeah, he could have just kept painting sky. It's so funny, man. I mean, where do you? Because so my basic take is, I look at Alan Resnick.
Yeah.
Have you follow his AI computer generated account? It's cool.
No, I haven't seen
it's called Alan's Personal Computer, and I think he does a cool thing where he's I'm really trying to generate things I couldn't do on my own.
Sure.
And that's fun, but I am so not worried about it replacing anything I do in any way whatsoever, I would say, AI.
I think for commercial work, which I don't book much of.
Yes. If you're a graphic designer whose job is to copy other graphic designs, you're fucked. Yeah.
It's so I'm knee jerk against it for that reason, but I'm also I'm just so used to being wrong that part of me is I'm sure there's some good use that I can't think of.
Yeah, I'm just sort of it just feels like this new little weird buzzword thing that is okay. Have you used ChatGPT at all?
I talked to it
Yeah.
for a while. I think I was talking to like a sex robot thing.
That's cool.
Well, because it was like, do you want to talk to an elf? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to talk to an elf. Are you kidding me? I would love to be an elf if I could. Like, and I started talking to this elf, and everything the elf was like, it just would be like, oh, master, like you look tense. Do you need a back rub? And I would be like, oh no, but I'm curious, like, where do elves go to the bathroom? They'd be like, do you want me to show you the bathroom? I was like, nah, not like that.
It is also like, you're like, that actually doesn't really make sense with my understanding of elves. And you like really press them on. It's like, I kind of think of them more of a secretive people. Why are they trying to fuck?
Yeah, you're being extremely
Yeah. That's like, I think maybe you've chosen the wrong fantasy race, you know?
Well, and then there's like the Santa elves and the Tolkien.
Yes,
and this seemed to just be pulling from whatever.
And I'm trying to, of one of those elves, Tolkien elves, I mean, sensual, but not, I don't think of them as fucking a lot. Do you?
I mean, that's on me though.
You think of that. No, but I mean, when I'm like, but they're like, they're not going master, fuck me.
No, yeah,
it's
that's
more
us.
A regal, like, suck my cock, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, regal suck my
cock, human, you know?
Suck the royal cock.
The royal cock, 1,000 years old. But
yeah, it is more that.
Yeah, and the Santa elves aren't sexy.
No.
If you do, that's telling yourself. You can't be saying the Santa elves are sexy.
I mean, it's like, you can't, like, whatever, I don't care if you do, but for real, anyone's
okay,
watching.
if you, all right. You know what? You're right, man. You're right.
If you're into the Santa elves, it's none of my business. But I do think you're telling yourself you're probably, like, because they're too small.
They're too small.
And that's worrying. But also they're like little old men.
Yeah.
That's fine,
I guess you know what? I take it back. You can fuck if you out there want to fuck the Santa elves, that's fine.
I haven't thought this through, but I think if it's a fictional creature of any sort, I think you're good to go. Yeah. Like, even if you want to fuck Scooby-Doo, it's like, you're not going to find a real Scooby-Doo.
Right. So there's you can fuck. And I get, listen, all the My Little Ponies, you know, they gave them sexy ass eyes. I mean, you imagine.
Would you call that harmless?
The sexy eyes?
No. The bronies. The guys who like jack off to My Little Pony.
I would say yes, only that, but I was reminded on TikTok today of that guy that did a mass shooting because he wanted to meet Applejack in the afterlife.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's not his. Cannot be on the My Little Pony.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
I mean, I know it's his fault. It's his fault.
Her fault. It's not. Yeah. It's not Applejack's fault.
We can't blame
or Fluttershy or Twilight. Yeah.
Candy Cane, whatever their names are.
Candy Cane. My favorite picture of all time is the bored Westboro Baptist Church child in the Vote for Pedro shirt. That is a good. Have you seen that?
I don't think I've seen that.
Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't have the little computer up. Sometimes we can look at images on the screen.
Just going from context, is this a kid who is like, is this a Westboro Baptist Church kid who's like, doesn't really have the spirit yet and is just at a protest holding a unfortunate sign? But they've also like...
Is it like their parents are Westboro Baptist Church? Westboro.
Or is it just a kid who's like nearby? Because we would look for those when I was in high school. That was like the heyday of like, can you believe
some came? I remember some came to the high school down the street from me, and we went and like counter protested.
I never found any. I would always look for them because I wanted to crash them so bad.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
You're like, fuck this. It's like the first thing. What do you think about this, man? This is something that came to mind. You know, Westeros.
Do I ever?
From Game of
Song
Thrones.
of Ice and Fire.
What about vote for not vote for. What about the Westeros Baptist Church? And then it's sort of guys who I guess also hate gay people, but they do it over there.
Yeah, I think there's homophobia in that story.
Yeah, that's very funny. Well, just on her phone.
Oh yeah, that kid doesn't care.
Yeah, that kid doesn't give a shit.
That's funny.
What's up, Sam?
Because you think Westboro Baptist Church, you know, it's like everyone's like really involved, but it's like I wasn't paying attention in church as a kid either. Regardless of I wasn't going to Westboro Baptist Church, but
right.
I was going to normal church.
What kind of church?
We was all over. It's interesting. I was supposed to be Catholic, and both of my parents, before they married each other, were married to other people and got divorced and married each other. And they tried to, so like I'm genetically Catholic. I'm supposed to be Catholic. They tried to baptize me.
They'll tell you not, but it's genetic.
It's genetic.
If you got it in you, you know. Okay.
And so they wouldn't baptize me.
Because they were divorced?
They were whatever. Wow. They were like, this is a child born in the wilderness. Like, he's not welcome in heaven.
So you're not Catholic?
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're right. But then, like, my dad would, like, because he was so Catholic.
Damn.
And he would be like, well.
It must have been hard for them to get a divorce if they were Catholic. Or did he really fucking hate his wife?
I don't know the story. Yeah. He's never talked about. You know, he's never said a bad thing about his. But it's more just that, like, and then afterwards he was like, I guess I'm not. And I think he was mad at the church about that.
Yeah.
But then, like, I would sometimes go to Catholic. They just like sneak me in.
Yeah, you got to get a little bit of that.
I think I got baptized. This was in Louisiana. It was probably like Baptist or something.
Lived in Louisiana
for a little bit, like 6 months.
Wow. Down in the bayou.
I was up north. I was in the
hills.
Yeah, the whatever, the ankle part of the
shoe.
boot.
Is it a boot? Yeah, Louisiana.
It's sort of a boot.
Sort of a boot, like Italy.
I got confused by that when I was a kid. They were like, "Oh, Italy is the boot." But to me, I was more familiar with the Louisiana shape, so I thought Louisiana.
The crawdad, but it's a boot and it's full of crawdads. You know
full of crawdads. Man? Or the worst things to stick your foot into.
Oh God, that's always the nightmare. One of my favorite images I've ever seen is the infographic illustration of the child wearing a bicycle helmet wrong, and the chin strap is in his mouth, and the helmet says wrong. That is also a really good image. And we're not going to look at the images. We're just going to think about them.
This is good.
I like this.
I liked earlier when you pulled up an image and showed me, and they couldn't see.
But I'm taking it a step farther. We're not even going to do that. You and I are just going to imagine that and kind of have our own versions of it in our heads.
It's great.
Like, think about it and go.
The way to do it.
Yeah, that's a good image. That's a real, because it's so easy to
give us a complicated one. Give us to really stump us. We're good at imagining.
I want to fucking imagine. I want to because it's so easy. You go online, you see all this shit. I mean, you can pull up any image. Kids don't learn anymore.
I'm looking up images all day.
And now we're actually going to go, we're both artistic fellows. We do a lot of thinking up here of images, right?
I see you're pointing to the right brain.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The creative one?
That's the creative side.
The creative one. Left brain, that's the one that keeps you breathing.
Sucks.
If you're left brain, sign off, bro. We don't want to hear from you.
You're not watching if you're left brain.
Two Boots, famous NYC pizza shop. I'm a big You ever been to a Two Boots?
I've been to a Two Boots.
Cornmeal on the crust.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I think the guy that ran it, he did something really bad, and now most of them are closed. Though.
That's most businesses.
That's most small business owners. 1,000 cans of Coca-Cola stacked in a pyramid. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm picturing it.
I can see that, and it's the Coke cans that have everyone's name on it, and everyone's represented, y'all. Every single name is there.
All 1,000 people.
Oh my God! All 1,000 names are there.
That's good.
And you know where yours is, and you're just like, that's mine. You know.
That was the original Tower of Babel.
Yes, it was all the names Coke
together.
Cans. Yeah. And that's how we learn language. One of my favorite recent finds is a muscular humanoid nude zebra. Okay, lying on a beach. And he's got balls, but instead of a penis, he's got a humanoid snake with six-pack abs. Can you picture this?
Easily. I said challenge me.
Yeah. I would say I fully know what that looks like. I even know the wry smile on the zebra's face.
It's very easy for me to imagine this nude zebra, like pretty big, like a big guy, right?
Yeah.
Leaning back like this, blushing, and like he's got like a little cloud over his head. Oh, I can see it
I'm
easily.
seeing sunglasses too.
Yeah.
I'm seeing sunglasses, and it's like, he's cheeky. Like you're like,
oh yeah,
he's
a bad boy.
He either fucked or is like about to fuck. You can see it in his like he's gonna fucking.
He knows something weird is happening.
Yes, bro. He runs whatever small sort of beach community of expats that he's found himself a part of. Like he is the unofficial.
Oh yeah, he's got like just like a year-round suntan.
Yeah.
What name is on the top from Stanktron? I think is a good question.
Only one name on top, man. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only name that is.
Joshua
Christ. If Jesus came back, would he have a different name?
Oh, because it's not. So if he comes back, he's born again, right?
Yeah. And he does, and we gotta figure it out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just like we're not plopping him down.
Do you think he's gonna go into a kid that was already gonna be named? Because there's like Jesus's and stuff, like. Do you think he's going to just go right in there?
Feels too easy.
Yeah, that's not my man chose to get crucified. That's not an easy guy.
I think it's got to go into like the child of like just like really horrendous Silver Lake parents raising their kid on like the Rye method. He's not allowed to play Game Boy. He's only allowed to use wooden blocks, and then
he's not allowed to get angry.
No.
You've seen these on like TikTok. That's like, we're doing conscientious parenting. And so nobody in the family yells, which that would have stressed me out so much as a kid.
Yeah, that's the only yelling is the only constant there was. You know, come on.
It's just when people get loud. It's fine.
Yeah, you can really do that if you're not Jewish. I just don't know how else to say that. I can't really imagine my family not screaming at each other all the time. That's like very crazy to me.
We weren't even Jewish.
You're not
we would
Jewish.
Just scream. We would have the TV on maximum volume all the time.
Did you watch TV during dinner?
Yes.
Yeah, us too.
Always on all hours, and we would just scream over top of it. And no one was mad. We were just a loud family.
Loud. Okay, imagine a news article called "He Died and No One Said a Word. Here's Why." Who's the article about? Unfortunately, the image coming into my mind is something I saw online today, which was insane. I don't know if you saw this, which was a guy who had a heart attack, but he looked like he was asleep at his desk, and everyone in the office took a picture with him.
Oh,
and he's the color of death. Like when you know it, it's like so obvious.
Yeah. So it's that guy.
So that's mine.
I gotta be honest. I know TV during dinner is crazy.
TV during dinner, every dinner.
That's what
Usually the news, though. I really always wanted to watch The Simpsons, but it always had to be the news.
It would just be, it was a lot of Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, sure.
It's just the 90s, you get it.
Come on, guys.
Time.
Simpsons, Just Shoot Me, Drew Carey Show.
I gotta be honest. Oh yeah, we loved Drew Carey Show. Then we went to Who's Line. Whole family would watch Who's Line.
I loved Who's Line. I feel like that's kind of what got me into comedy a little bit.
I think it's still funny. I think everyone has their time where they rebel against it a little.
Yeah, they're like, whatever. Yeah.
But then you watch it, it's like the men are on fire.
The men are on fire. The second those two Canadian beautiful old men open their mouths, you're going fucking crazy.
Oh my
Ryan
God,
Stiles.
the dynamic.
Oh my God.
They're making fun of Colin being bald, but it's all in good fun.
It's all in good fun. Everything Now show. Your guys are streaming as well. And then we'll be on. We got to prep some good bits for Saturday.
Everything Now show is
they're streaming,
right now.
But you're looking at my stream.
You won.
Yeah. Because I'm making the more interesting content, and that's what it's all about. But folks, the phone lines are open. We're having a great chat here, and please keep throwing out your images for us to think. But if you have any thoughts on pretty pictures or the things they do to us, the things they do. Proops. Greg Proops, extremely funny Twitter.
Does he?
His display name is "You Can't Sell Democracy Like It's Instacart." And so kind of fill in that guy based on that. Yeah, he's extremely K-Hive.
Yeah, that was sort of my worry. That's sort of why I've avoided Greg Proops online.
He was such an icon to me. So to find out it was K-Hive was just so crushing, you know?
Yeah. Well, because you were like, he's got a funny Twitter. I was like, that's so rare for a guy of that age.
No. He's K-Hive, and he says stuff like, "You can't sell democracy like it's Instacart." Yeah.
That is funny, though.
Yeah. That's not the problem. That's a great joke. That's a clean joke. Say that on Who's Line.
So many people, they'll be like, I hate this guy. Yeah. They'll hate a guy, and it's like, but he's funny.
Yeah.
It's like if you imagine like Michael Scott. It's a beloved clown character.
Yeah. The buffoon.
In real life, though, people on Twitter wouldn't know how to handle him. They would tell him to kill himself every day.
Right. He'd be sort of, if he was.
But you want him. You want clowns in the world,
Yes. Like we should allow more space for guys to act weird and crazy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
We should protect them. I think we should protect them, even if they're hurting people, if it's funny enough.
If it's funny enough. And they're not hurting people and so bad.
That's what I know. I'm not talking about
hurt anyone that bad, did he?
The Scott's Tots things. Really rough.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in a while. I keep it, I put it away. I keep those memories where they were.
The metal-ass picture Francis Bacon did of the Pope wigging out. Great painting.
Really?
Do you know this one?
No, I don't.
Oh, imagine a Pope.
Uh-huh.
Now imagine a lot of vertical lines and the Pope screaming like it's a nightmare.
That's cool.
It's more fucked up than what you're imagining.
Whoa.
I had a big art book as a kid. I was into art. My mom was an art teacher.
Uh-huh.
And it's like the art book. Do you know this? It's a very 90s like coffee table book.
And it has like all big, like all the famous paintings in it.
Most of them,
yeah.
And one of them was that. And I was very young. I was like 6 or 7. And I would like psych myself up to open that page.
Because it was too scary?
It was very scary.
I
Sick
think,
choice.
Hold on. I'm going to throw in the AC because I don't know about you. It's getting a little toasty.
I'm getting a little warm.
A little toasty in the big computer room. I was very frightened of, just reminded me of this, which is a VHS I would psych myself out to watch, which was a puppet version of Peter and the Wolf narrated by Sting from the Police.
Oh, whoa.
And
we had the Dudley Moore one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And so it really scared the shit out of me. Like the puppets were so scary. It's stupid and funny as an adult. Like you see it and you're like, oh, the point of this is it's very tongue in cheek. But I was very scared of it. And I would psych myself up to watch the horrible, and the duck was drunk in it, and I didn't like that.
That's an odd choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the cat. If we're talking the musical themes of Peter and the Wolf, which I think we are, the cat clears it. Yeah. The cat, the ba 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 ba, way better than any of the other.
Yeah. I don't like the hunter's oboes.
No,
miss me with those hunter's oboes.
Is that the boo doo doo?
Yeah, and they're coming in. You're like, shut the fuck up. What's up? What's up? Cat's up. Hello, Raiders. Welcome. This is a call-in show. It's called Chat Havers. Let's make a conversation. With us tonight, of course, is Branson Reese.
How you doing?
Just an incredible personality.
Thank you so much.
That's how I think that's a nice way to that's just a great personality.
A great way to put it.
KP, this is Branson, one of the great personalities. Tonight we're talking about pretty pictures, if you can believe it. Just thinking of them in the abstract, what they do to us, the things. So, I mean, pretty pictures are some of the most powerful forces in history, you know?
A picture, it can change the world.
Worth 1,000 words. It can change the world. You see the right picture, you'll die for that cause.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a picture of Jesus is looking so amazing, you go, yes, I will go do the Crusades, you know?
There definitely are. I was about to ask, like, do you think there are people who ever, like, joined a religion or became, but of course there are.
Of course there are. I mean, especially in a world where it's like especially you like grow up in some dumb village and there's one book and then you go to like Hagia Sophia for the first time and you're like, oh yeah, God is real. Because like everything I've ever seen in my entire life has told me that everything is made out of mud and sticks. And then this exists, you know? So of course I gotta be Catholic now.
Well, it's like the theory in history, right? Of like every time there's a new invention, it takes us about 100 years to stop being crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the printing press, or not even that, just like books.
Internet right now.
But that's like internet. It's happening too fast now, and I think that's why everything's so fucked up. It's we were barely ready for like movies,
right?
And I don't think we were ready for movies. And then we got TV too quick, and then we got the internet. It's happening too fast. I'm not suggesting we get rid of it.
I think we got to go back to TV.
Just TV.
I think no. I think. I truly believe people yearn for the days of turning on the television and that it just goes.
I've noticed this
experience.
Do you ever watch streams of old commercials?
Yes.
I do this too. I think a lot of people do this.
Yes. It's comforting. Reese's Puff, peanut butter chocolate flavor. When I hear those words, I feel the first sense of calm I felt in days.
I think of the Hot Family. I was thinking about it when you turn the AC on the Hot Family, who's like, "You'll call today. I'll call today.
You'll call today." Is that Stanley Steam or the? No, wait. What is?
No, it's just like an air conditioning
You'll call today.
thing.
I'll call today.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
No, so this is interesting. We're from the same region. We're from the same part of the country, so we might have some of the same.
I'm trying to think. At Eastern Motors, put you in a car today. At Eastern Motors, finance it all the way. Ford, Honda, Chevy Motors. Does that ring?
That's ringing a bell.
Yeah.
I couldn't sing along.
They had Biz Markie do the commercial and he was just smashing an unplugged keyboard. It's really funny, honestly. He's going, he's playing an unplugged keyboard as a percussive instrument and singing this song, and it's extremely funny.
What a cool guy. Did you get the Northern Virginia Community College?
Mm-mm.
Of course not, I guess.
No.
But in Northern Virginia, it's this huge commercial. I've looked for it so many times. it only exists in one Reddit comment I found from someone being like, does anyone remember this?
Yeah,
and it's from like 7 years ago. Nobody replied.
You're like, yes. No, I'm trying to think. There's a casino one or a lottery one that feels very of our area. Well, there's give the gift of scratchers, give them more and more. Give the gift of scratchers and watch your spirits soar.
Do you remember Charlestown?
Charlestown races and slots. That's exactly what it was. On the road where the action is hot. I was obsessed with Charlestown races and
People
slots.
at my high school would sing Charlestown racists and sluts.
That's good. I think that Education Connection
is the great one, of course.
Charlestown races and slots made me think the fucking horse track was so fucking sick. I was like, this looks pimp, dude. Just like Charlestown races.
Well, they had like an old jazz guy.
Yeah.
Like Zatarain's.
Racists and sluts. That's good. Do I still know the full Education Connection rap? I definitely don't. Get education. That one played on
Education for free.
What was that? It was to get you
Went
to
to high
sign
school,
up for...
didn't do great. It was played during Degrassi.
Yes.
Did you watch Degrassi?
So much Degrassi.
Did you watch Degrassi?
Where's
the camera?
Folks, did you watch Degrassi? Sign in now if you think that Jimmy getting shot was jumping the shark.
Oh, do you think that's where they
jumped the shark? No,
I don't think so, because one of the best moments comes after that.
Yeah. That is the prime. That's my Degrassi. Those kids.
When did you stop?
I got to be real. I watched it way longer than I was supposed to.
But so did I. When did you stop?
I stopped, like, there was a whole generation after that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And
that's when they had the baby, there's a shark in the water. Where they're at the festival.
Yes. I was watching it. Me and my friend, I had a friend where we were like, secretly wouldn't tell our other friends that we would watch Degrassi, like, private. Like, we would hang out, and if it was just us, we'd be like, you want to watch some fucking Degrassi? And
oh, yeah. Was it like, it started as a joke, and then...
Yeah, then it's like, we really liked it. Yeah. I never watched that show, but I watched the scene of Jimmy getting shot on repeat. Yeah, I mean, that's a classic. I love Degrassi, dude. It taught me that Canada was all right. Okay, do you know Pluto TV?
No.
It's free TV you can get on your thing. I recently also know it's owned by Paramount.
Okay.
But I find it very calming, and there's a Degrassi channel, and I sometimes just put it on. They just play it ad nauseum.
That's incredible. I mean, we've been watching it on like Amazon. Like,
really?
I got my wife into it.
Wow.
Are
you watching from the beginning?
Watching from the beginning. It starts really rough, but it's also Degrassi. It's never like that much better.
Are you starting when they're like kids with like the pedophile episode and stuff?
Start with the pedophile episode.
Yeah.
That show jumps you in.
Is that the first one?
The first episode. Well, it's a two-parter.
Is Liberty getting... No, it's not
Emma.
It's Emma. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Emma,
that's the first episode.
So the first episode sucks because it's a two-parter, and the first part is it's like, oh, they're not going to care about these kids. The target demographic of 12 and 13-year-olds, they're not going to care about these kids. They're going to want to hear all about these 29, 30-year-olds who were in the one from the 80s. They're going to be so interested.
Right, because the teacher was in the original. Yeah.
They want to know what Snake is up to, and Spike, and
yes.
what's his name?
Because a lot of their kids they're the kids of...
Or they've adopted them. It's
you could call in and talk about how people buy pretty photos. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Please.
Peppercorn Patty, which version did you come up on? I really came up the most on that but then I also watched where like there was like the Indian girl and a couple other people. And her brother, yeah.
So I was watching so long. I was like in New York.
I was fully
full
an
on
adult.
In New York, still watching new
episodes.
It just was my thing.
Yeah.
I just was watching it. And then finally I was at a certain point, I was like, I'm getting sober. I gotta stop. I gotta stop watching Degrassi. And
Wait. Did it correlate with you getting sober, or did it correlate with your bottom?
Both.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it was my bottom.
It was your hug during your bottom, but then also it was like what kept you sane while you were getting sober.
I don't remember this, but a friend of mine was at my place and I was watching Degrassi. And he was like, "You watch this?" And what I said to him was, "All I consume is trash." Like, I think we had just eaten burgers. I was drinking and I was watching Degrassi, and it was like that was it. And I do remember that as when I was getting sober, being like, "That's not a good way to live."
You're like,
so I stopped watching, and the next season it went off the air. So I watched up until I watched the
Wow.
penultimate season, and then I was done.
Have you ever watched the last season?
I've watched some of it since then.
It is
was
not
done.
set in New York. It was just that Branson was a full adult man living in New York while he was watching.
Oh yeah, sorry, I know that's fair.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
explain.
yeah.
It started. The show went on the air when I lived in Birmingham, Alabama. My family moved to outside of DC, and I watched it all through that. I went to school, and then I got kicked out, and then I moved to New York. So this is like over a decade of my life that I'm spending with this show, because I'm the same age as like JT.
Yes, yeah, you're like the perfect age for it.
Because it started. There was
I'm
the
a
eighth
little
graders
bit
and
younger, so like they were so fucking cool to me. Because I'd watch like Jimmy, I'd be like, that guy is so sick. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But he's
So
1 year old. But it's I had the same experience because I was like, they're 1 year older than me, and I loved JT because JT's like the class clown.
Yes.
Right. He's like the silly kid.
Yeah, he's silly. He's silly.
And it's like they get like 2 or 3 episodes of him being the class clown, and then I got kicked out. Bad boy Branson. Yeah, I got kicked out for killing a teacher.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and what are your thoughts on Pretty Pictures?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
There you are. You're all like blurry sounding.
I don't know.
Not very pretty picture.
Not a very pretty picture indeed.
So, like, define what pretty picture means again. I feel like I didn't get the topic right.
I mean,
I don't think you can get this wrong.
Yeah, I don't think
if you're
you can
thinking
get
of a
it wrong.
picture
Yeah,
and you like it,
yeah,
that's good. That's good.
a pretty picture. Just we're thinking of the pretty pictures that inspire us, the pretty pictures throughout history. Just it's an open-ended topic, my friend.
Oh, I see. So, Luke, you know about K-pop, right?
Vaguely, I dabble.
Okay.
I can't say I'm an expert.
So, since pretty much the early 2000s of K-pop, labels would put out physical albums and release multiple versions of the same album that have different pretty pictures on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside of those, in most albums, if not all of them now, there's a thing called photo cards. And they're little like 85 millimeter by 75. They're like 85 by whatever. They're like wallet-sized photos of the members.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they're through a random selection in the album. So there'll be a lot of like 6 you can get in the same album.
So it's like trading cards. Like you have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you have to buy an album to get more or trade it around.
Interesting.
Is this to combat
like
like downloading and like digital like streaming?
No. If anything, people also want digital streams.
Right.
Physical, I think, gives them more money because it's more direct to them. But I wanted to bring it up because I was just like, dang, I'm looking at my collection and I bought all 3 versions of this new album, all 5 versions of this re-release.
Wow.
2 versions of this. But what's even more insane is that, like, I only buy the albums. There's people out here buying hundreds of albums just to get their pull for a photo card. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Is there a secondhand market? Is that part of it? Is it a buyer and sellers thing?
Yes, on the photo cards for sure. With the albums, it's not as big.
Because
like,
you can just get those.
I've seen people just give them away. Like I've had how I tried to give you that BTS album? Yeah. It's because the guy had like 20 of them and he's like, I don't need the albums. No, it doesn't come with photo cards, just the CD and the booklets. I'm like, what the fuck? These are like $70 each.
The CDs are $70?
Well, this one was the BTS one was like an anthology. So it had like 4 booklets, 3 discs. It was big. It's really heavy.
That's like a Criterion BTS.
That's I mean, and they go into the closet too, and they show it's incredible. How much is like a normal K-pop CD? I truly have no concept of how much a CD is. If it's a smaller size,
it can be about 11 through $21. If it's like the bigger like photo book, like full size photo book, it can go from like $22 to $30, and these are like the prices from Target. So these are like non-imported. Like I am buying this here physically in the States.
Right.
It's a lot cheaper actually in Korea because I I fell into the rabbit hole of shipping proxies. And this one website has like 40% off on pre-orders every time. And I'm like, oh, it's so easy. Wow, 40% off and the shipping would be local? Oh my goodness. And then I'm like, oh, I bought a lot.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. It's crazy to me. Yeah. I'm trying to think about how much I think a CD is, but it's definitely less than $20.
Right. Like I have, funny enough, I bought a Japanese CD from Target and it was like $10.98, but it was like a single. And I'm like, this is a lot of money though for 3 songs.
Yeah.
And I still bought it because it said Target exclusive. And I'm like, damn it. I really wanted the extra photo card in the inside.
Now, AJ, are you listening to the albums or is it mostly just that you are? Are you putting on the physical albums or are you listening to the streamed versions of them?
Both. Okay, I have ripped them, but like it's just easier to stream it.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Can I ask? Oh no, please go for it.
Go ahead.
I was just curious. I don't know jack shit about anything that's happening in the K-pop world, but I'm curious. What is like? Who are like the guys in it? You know, like who are the big dogs in that world?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really like boy groups that much.
Oh,
boring.
Wait, who?
Like
then what else?
More.
Okay, who are the guys of the? Sorry, who are? When I say the guys, I
who
just
are your
mean
guys
like,
and the Mark Maron sets.
I think the really big ones right now is like Blackpink, even though they're still on tour.
I've heard of that.
Group called,
Blackpink. They played on.
They're pretty big.
I didn't know that was K-pop. I just heard there was a band called Blackpink.
Yeah, they are a K-pop group. There's another group called Twice. They're like really deep in their careers now. They're pretty big. As far as newer groups that's having more brand recognition, there's a newer group called La Seraphim that I'm really into. They're a 5-member girl group. That's I linked Luke, the documentary, and how they were formed.
Yes, you sent me this.
Like 2 of the girls were from like another girl group before that was like a temporary group.
And they like poached them?
They what?
Did they poach them? Was there like a hostile takeover?
Yeah, actually, well, no. Okay, so the 2 girls that were from a former group, there was a K-pop survival show where it was 101 K-pop trainees, or 101 ladies, half of them being like Korean trainees, and the other half being members from the giant Japanese girl group called AKB48 that has over like 100 members because they like do it in teams.
Oh my god! So they have like a polyphonic spree over there. That's incredible.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like AKB48 isn't really. Well, it's not K-pop, but their function's a little bit different. They're basically idols you can meet. So there's like different teams that perform every day at these theaters.
Oh,
and then there's like obviously like the people that are like the most popular. They get to be at the big concerts and on the actual music. But so they recruited them and had a bunch of Korean trainees onto the show, and then ended up being like 12 members, and they were only supposed to be a group for 2 years. So after that's done, like, a lot of the ladies just like did other things, did music solo, but 2 of them basically did get poached to be in this group because they were already a name that was known. And then actually one of them was a girl she's from the States here, but she was actually on that survival show, but she didn't make it to the end. And they poached her, and she was like, yeah, I was about to start business school in America, but I got contacted, so I went back to Korea. And I'm like, damn.
What, AJ, what I want to know, what happens like after you're done being a K-pop star? What happens? Like, what is there? What can you do? Like, what options are open for you?
You can probably still work in the entertainment industry. Sure. A lot of people start going into acting.
Sure.
That's a thing.
Sure, that makes sense. So it's like
they have like a VA. Like the production work.
Yeah. Interesting.
But a lot of them just like stay in the industry or just disappear. It's like, I'm done, bye.
Yeah, and then they're like, I'll just go be a doctor now or whatever. I had my fun.
Or they just like live their life if they were like successful enough or whatever.
Crazy.
But yeah, there's that. There's the Seraphim I'm really into. There's a really new and young group that I was a little questionable on because they were all like average age of like 16. And I'm like, a little weird. But the music was like stupid good. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really good. And I bought all 5 versions of the one album and 5 of the other.
You're buying these out. So what, AJ, so going back to this collection, is it just for posterity's sake? Are you making money off this? Is the idea to amass?
I just like having a collection.
You just like, how do you show them? How do you show them off?
They're on my shelf.
Okay.
That I am running out of room of.
Okay. I love to hear that.
Well, what's next?
CDs in general, so.
Are you gonna invest in like a bigger shelf or like how
storage space, wall art?
That's in the future.
Nice. All right.
Incredible.
But what's funny is with this group is instead of like random 1 out of 6, they give you all of them at once in one album. But they're still doing the multiple versions, so you kind of have to buy all 5 to get all of them.
But you know which one you're gonna get.
But, Right. But what I find funny is that like there is people, like I said, people will buy over hundreds of albums just to like pull photo cards, and it's actually was kind of like a problem in Korea itself that like, because if you buy the albums, also you can get into their fan meetings too, because it's like random lottery. But people will buy them, and then you'll see boxes on the street of all these albums with no photo cards, just like chilling.
Oh, because they buy them, and then they're just like, "Well, I don't need these." Like they literally don't need the albums at all. Yeah. God, that's so crazy. What's the prettiest photo card you've ever seen?
I don't know. I'm not too. See, I'm also weird because a lot of the collectors will put photo cards in like the trading card sleeves and like put them in binders.
Oh yeah.
I don't do that. I just keep it in the album. I guess my favorite would be the Le Seraphim, like their first mini album called Fearless. They had a 6-member that was them with them for 2 weeks, but she got caught up in some like awful bullying scandal that wasn't even her fault. So she ended up leaving the group like 2 weeks later. Yeah, it was.
Wait, so she got bullied and she had to leave?
It was like I don't know. Allegedly that like she got bullied, but like her friend like uploaded some like slightly nude photos of this girl. And keep in mind, these girls are underage.
Oh,
and
yikes!
She, like uploaded some weird picture, and then the girl retaliated and brought some friends. It's like that's not cool, and like stood up for her friend, but like that was also like gang activity because she brought other people with. It was a hot mess, and I barely understood it. But like, at the end, it was like not her fault.
Right.
Like she was standing up for like her other friend or something like that. I was like, damn, what the fuck?
I mean, if more than like 500 people had known about me when I was 16, it would have been a disaster. I would have gone
completely
insane. That's also an awful thing with like K-pop is that like they're like young, so like weird things will come up where they did things when they were younger, like. Because bullying is a really big deal in Korea, like culturally.
Is
they're trying to get
like it's like it happens.
Yeah, it's like a really big deal.
Or like
it happens a lot.
Yeah. Interesting.
And like they're trying to like, hey, that's not cool, like mental health kind of thing. But yeah, they were trying. I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, but basically, the girl was only there for 2 weeks, and she was actually like. The girl I like was like, oh, she looks really cool. I like her parts in the song, but then she left. I'm like, what the fuck?
This isn't
the first. Oh, go ahead.
No, is her card now worth a ton because it's so rare?
I don't think so because a lot of people were like just turned off by the whole situation.
Because she did bullying.
Do you think later on though?
Yeah.
Like when we're like,
if she had a comeback and then it's like, I got the OG shit.
It's like a Vinnie Vincent signature now.
Yeah.
I want to say not as much because the album was printed a lot. Because funny enough, I didn't buy the album on release. I became a fan during their second album, like half a year later.
Sure.
And then bought the first one later. And my pull was actually her. And I'm like, oh my God, she's here.
Incredible.
That was the only time I ever actually got excited to wear a photo card. I was like, oh my gosh. And as a collector mentality for me, I'm like, oh, why don't I collect her? Like seek out her cards because she won't have a growing number of cards. Like she would just have the number and that's it. Once I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah. I love that. I want to look at one of these binders, but for now I'll just have to imagine them.
I'll link you some like videos.
Please,
of people
put it in Discord. Put it in the Discord. Well, AJ,
I think it's fascinating that like I spend $20-$30 trying to buy basically I'm buying photo books. I'm not really buying CDs.
Sure.
The CDs are just bonuses.
I guess that's
I am buying big ass photo books.
Yeah.
80 pages of pictures.
I mean,
just to look at them.
AJ, I think you hit this topic on the fucking head. This is the exact kind of pretty pictures I was interested in. I knew nothing about this. Now I and Branson, I assume, know about a completely new type of pretty picture in the world.
I had no idea about any of this, and it's pretty, and it's pictures.
And it's pretty pictures. So
that's an A+.
A+, man. AJ, thank you for calling in.
You should have Branson on more.
I agree. Thank you.
That's great. We love to hear that. Take care, my
friend.
Yes,
bye.
Bye.
That's good. You got one seal of approval, man.
Thank you so
if you
much.
Get 3, I have to pay you for doing this.
Wow.
But until then,
I go crazy.
Remember the IKEA monkey? Yes, I'm imagining him.
Do I ever?
And he's got his little
Paltrow coat on.
Yeah. What? Did they ever figure out why that fucker was there?
I think they did. But it's none of my business.
No, yeah.
I
knew. I saw they figured out. I was like, I don't need to know about that. That has nothing to do with me.
Also, anytime there's an animal somewhere it's not supposed to be, it's like there's a really good chance it's a sad story.
Yes,
and I can't do that.
I don't want to see that, so to speak. I don't want to see that. Well, folks, again, we're talking about pretty pictures, the things they do to us, the things they inspire. I'm trying to think of the prettiest picture that's inspired the most. We were sort of talking about this a little earlier. We'll maybe throw it to this caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and what are your thoughts on pretty pictures?
Hello, Luke. Hello, Branson. This is Robbie from Houston.
Robbie, welcome.
Hey, Robbie from Houston.
Hello. I wanted to discuss a pretty picture tonight. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but it is a Far Side cartoon. From the 90s, I believe.
Okay. Back half.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're looking at the exterior of a house.
Okay.
And there is a man
eyes.
waiting patiently with a balloon with an angry face on it.
I know it well.
Then upstairs, we see a sort of mother hectoring her child, and this child is laying down for sleep at night. And the caption at the bottom of the photo, giving context to the photo, says, "Now go to sleep, Kevin, or once again I'll have to knock 3 times and summon the floating head of death." So what's happening is this married couple, they have an arrangement where they have this balloon with an angry face on it.
Right.
And the child is under the impression that it's some sort of supernatural occurrence.
Yes.
And
then let it go, and then.
Well, the dad slowly releases it up, so it floats up into the child.
I see.
So he can reuse
it.
It's a good one. I did laugh just a while ago, imagining somebody turning the stream on and just hearing the husband and wife have an arrangement and being like, "I know what kind of stream this is," and turning it off.
I know it's that Far Side cartoon. I don't need to hear
the one
more.
about the affair.
Can I pitch you guys a Far Side cartoon that I don't? It's an image in my head, and I want to see if it makes sense.
So you're pitching,
like
you're writing,
like I'm writing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's.
I thought you were pitching a Far Side cartoon that exists already.
No. It's like as if it exists. So, it's a cat, 2 cows.
Okay,
and they're putting on human clothes.
Okay,
right? And she's putting on the makeup, and it's sexy, and he's got the tie on, and then so they're doing that, and they're in there's somewhere they shouldn't be, like a living room. And then in the corner, you see a couple, and they're really crotchety, right? And she's turning to him, and she says, "Welcome to Marwan."
The craziest thing about this, well, first of all, it's perfect. I'm giving the
welcome to Marwan.
Yeah. The craziest thing about this pitch is that I've heard Luke give it before in even more laborious detail.
I'm surprised to hear.
His little dream that he's had.
So welcome to. So does that read to you?
That does read to me.
Right.
I can imagine it.
You can imagine it.
Style.
Yeah. And you saw that, you'd be like, I'm laughing. It's Marwen. I don't know. I mean, that's not my version of it, but welcome to
Marwan.
Welcome to Marwan, you know?
Yeah.
That's part of what makes it work for me. It's not the name of the movie is Welcome to Marwan.
But it means something to you. That image has meaning to you.
What this does is this captures a thing from reading Far Side when I was a kid, when sometimes they'd reference something.
Yes.
And I'm 6,
Yes,
I don't know
exactly. And I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, well, once I'm 23 years old, I'm gonna get the hell out of this one.
Oh, boy, I gotta dog ear this book.
There you go.
Put it in storage, and I'll come back.
That's
to it
exactly the answer. And Robbie, I know you think this image is fucking bullshit, but guess what? It's not. It's not fucking bullshit. It's something.
No, I just think it's sweet how precious this idea is to you.
Yeah, it's a funny image.
Welcome. I can hear I can see the text underneath.
Right. Welcome to Marwan. Like you can really hear it in your in your voice, in your mind's ear, so to speak.
I always think of the one. It's the guy. It's a scientist, and he's invented a helmet that lets you talk to animals.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking down the street, and every dog in the neighborhood is barking at him, and all the dogs are saying is, hey, 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 hey. And he's just got a look on his face like, this was a bad invention. I love it.
That's funny. Now, I got a follow-up question. How much do I have to pay you to make my dream a reality?
A single panel Farsight? Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to blow my rate here publicly.
Right. Well, we could discuss it off stream, but
we could do this for sure.
Would it be reasonable?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like industry standard?
Absolutely. I will give you the industry standard.
But I want two things. I want it to be like, I don't want anyone to know you made it. Okay. And so first of all,
so I don't get to sign it.
You don't get to sign it. It's ghost writing, and I'm gonna say I made it. Yes.
Okay. Should I put Gary Larson's signature?
No. What I need you to put my signature, Gary Larson's style, in the style of Gary Larson's signature.
Okay.
And I need it to be exactly his style.
Every new change, the price is going up. But yes,
that's
I
fine.
Can do
that's
this.
fine. Yeah. Okay. So his style, it needs to look like this is what I want people to think is that I'm making new Far Side cartoons. Yeah. Like I'm taking it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You could do that?
I could do that. There is like an ethical thing, but I think it's fine.
You're ghostwriting, so what do you give a shit? You're just there for the dollar. No, the mighty dollar. You don't think does the mighty dollar not rule all?
No, it does.
Exactly.
And I worship it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could do this.
Okay. You feel like that's well within your capability.
I could draw it.
Okay.
That's one of the ways I learned to draw was drawing Far Side.
Far Side cartoons. Yeah. Incredible.
If you want to do a Bill Watterson, if you wanted a Calvin and Hobbes, I'd say, buddy.
I wouldn't.
Don't
dare.
We all?
I wouldn't dare. Brandon,
can
you draw Luke?
Yeah, I could draw Luke.
He could easily draw me. Glasses, hair.
You got all the stuff.
I got all the stuff. Robbie, I mean, any other pretty pictures coming to mind for you, man?
There is a painting I like a lot called, what is it? Portrait of a Young Woman with Unicorn by Raphael. It was done in the 1500s. It was a woman with just her paints or whatever, but it was touched up in the 1700s, so where she has this really fucked up looking noodly unicorn in her lap, giving a wry smile.
This is the it's got the sort of reddish background, right?
She's in a red dress. It's a blue background behind her, though.
My mistake.
You know a lot about art.
My mom's an art teacher.
Yeah,
I'm an artist. This is an excellent choice.
But you know the sort of the low and the high.
I like to think.
Yeah,
I like to try.
I like that.
I stay away from the middle.
Yeah, you stay away from 2.5 Men, something like that.
Yeah, the middle brow 2.5 Men painting stuff.
Yeah.
Branson, I'm curious. If you were going to make a caricature of Luke, what feature would you exaggerate?
That's a good question. Probably the glasses and eyes area.
Sure.
You got sort of soulful eyes. I would probably focus on that.
He's really sensitive about that. I know you probably don't watch the stream, but he is really
about my soulful eyes.
No, about his soulful eyes.
No, it's one of my greatest. I mean, Branson,
I can tell you guys you make sport of your soulful eyes.
They razz me, but we're having fun. You know what I mean? You're also a man with soulful eyes.
What can I say?
That.
It takes one to know one.
Takes one to know one. You think I have a soulful voice? Well, you can't draw a voice, idiot. Sorry. You wish. You'd be out of... Well, that's what animation is, actually. It's pretty beautiful.
We'd get you in for that.
And I want to be clear. When we're talking about pretty pictures, we're not talking about moving images. We're talking about singular images. Yeah. Comics are fine, which is why you're here, but I don't want to hear about it I don't want to hear about the illusion of motion through many pretty images.
Now, here's a question. What do you think about the smear frame? Do you know about this?
Oh, the in-between
panels that people will now, in the 20s.
Yeah,
they'll isolate these images of like Bugs Bunny's
I think they gotta I think these were never meant to be seen, and they should let these artists' creations let them rest. I don't need to see Bugs Bunny looking like he got 10 damn eyes, like a biblical angel. That's not what the creator intended. If he did that, he would have drawn bugs like that in a single photo
and had him move around.
Exactly, but it's not right. I don't think.
Okay, that's
what about
strong.
You? Yeah,
strong. I think it's fine.
I don't think it's. I think they should cut it the fuck out, and I think you should never isolate someone else's work. Ever.
I wish those guys were alive to. Well, they'd be in pain. I don't wish that they'd be so old, but
they would. But we'd put like drones in their hands, so they had to keep drawing.
Well, that's not all where I was going. But I think let's make them work if they're gonna live.
For God's sake,
I would love to know what they would think about that, because I think a lot of the present day people who do smear frames, I think, love that.
Sure,
love isolating.
Do you still have to do smear frames?
This is interesting.
Please.
They don't really. That's not totally the way Western animation works as much anymore. So much is done digitally now.
Right. Yeah.
The thing with smear frames is like, so there's 24 images per second for a traditional moving. And so a lot of Looney Tunes were done on the ones, which means that every single frame there was a new drawing.
Wow.
It's the hardest to do, but it's also
That's
the
why
smoothest.
They look the best.
Yeah, they look incredible. Disney did that too. It's a lot of like stuff from that era, because these were theatrical cartoons with a theatrical budget, which was much higher.
Right, of course.
As soon as we went to television, then that's why everything looks different for television animation. Hanna-Barbera was really smart about it. That's why everybody has the collar, right? So that they would just like, Fred Flintstone could just like turn his head and his body wouldn't have to move.
Oh.
And then you could get away with way less. And so a lot of what's done now is on the 2s or even on the 3s. Where it's every other, and it'll look a little choppier. Famously, in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they have the adult Peter Parker. He's on the 1s, and then Miles is on the 2s because he looks a little more awkward. And then when he gets better at being Spider-Man, he goes into the 1s, so he's a smoother animation.
That's so cool.
It's very cool.
Damn.
When
That's
they did
crazy.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they did Roger Rabbit all on the 1s, which is psychotic.
Yes.
Crazy to do.
2.5 hour movie. Yeah.
It's insane that they
actually
did
there's no way Who Framed Roger Rabbit is 2.5 hours.
It's like barely 90.
Yeah. Damn.
But now it's done. Almost everything's done in like Flash or some variation of Flash.
And even if they're drawing it by hand, they're still being assisted by the computer.
Not everything, but for the most part, yes. Yeah. But because of that, you don't need, if you want something to move fast, if you had, let's say you have like a second, right? Like you need the guy to get from here to here in a second, you would use 24 drawings to make him get there. But if you need him to get there in less than a second, you would smear it. So you would just have drawings where he's just like a blur, and it makes it look like he's just getting there really quickly. If this is boring, please just
no. I like this. I'm in rapt attention.
But in Flash, you could just move him really quickly over there.
Right? Yeah.
I do think something's lost.
I do too.
That,
I mean, I could go all day how I think the computer has destroyed many Western animations, specifically comedy.
It's true. I mean, I do agree with that. But at the same time, you don't have people like working in unair conditioned studios.
No problem for me. The work's good. Sure. Robbie, do you have any thoughts on any of this?
Yeah, they did Roger Rabbit on 1s. That's how they made what's her face? Jessica.
Yeah, what was she done on?
That was the 1s.
Gotta be.
Oh,
you can tell.
You don't get a woman like that on the damn 2s. I'll tell you that much. You don't get that much voluptuosity on the damn 2s.
Maybe that woman in Toontown who goes, "Oh man."
Yeah, maybe her. But Jessica Rabbit's on the 1, not a smear frame. And the budget on Jessica Rabbit alone is enough to power most movies.
Rita Hyena. What am I doing? Why am I acting like I don't know her name? Her name is Rita Hyena.
That's it.
Nobody in the chat believes I don't know her name.
Trying to be cool. Trying to convince me that you're cool by being like, yeah, whatever. Who knows what her name whatever. Is. Rita Hyena or something like that.
I don't know what she's like.
God, I love Jessica Rabbit, man, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, and then of course Cool World, where they went a little too far, you know.
That's Bakshi for you. I'm sure Bakshi saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Ralph Bakshi saw Who Framed
Cool World.
Yeah. Famously horny.
Yes. He was like, they gotta fuck this thing.
I think
it really feels like that. He's like, they're not gonna fuck it. You seen Cool World, Robbie?
No, I've seen some other Bakshis, and he's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, Cool World's good. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit at a quarter of the budget and like way more risque in a way you go, we didn't like it only clearly got funding because Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a success, but it so misses the mark of what's fun about it in an incredible way where it's like fucking and killing and you're like,
it's a nasty, I would say walk, movie. Don't run, but do watch it.
Yeah.
It's a nasty, it's probably the worst movie I've seen 12 times.
Yeah, exactly. Robbie, any other beautiful, pretty pictures you want to leave us on tonight?
You're really pressing me for a pretty picture.
Yeah.
You've given us so much. If you don't have it, it's okay.
Yeah.
The original troll face, pretty good.
That's classic, dude.
One of the most famous memes.
That's one of the most famous memes.
Yeah.
I love that image.
That's all I got.
All right, thanks, man. All right,
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Confused about the ones and the twos. All right, I'm going to try and explain the ones and the twos because I know about this too. Let's see. So the ones is if there's 24 frames, right, a second, which is normal animation. Ones is every single frame, 1 through 24 is a new drawing.
Yes.
Completely new drawing. A twos would be, there'd be 12 drawings because it'd be every other second. Yeah.
And so it moves a little, less fluidly.
That's so cool about Spider-Man.
It's a very cool movie. The animation for it is very lovingly done.
I've heard the new one. Yeah, so you're drawing on every other one.
Yes, yeah. Sorry if that wasn't clear. Sorry.
Are you very excited for the second one?
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
I like the first one.
I have a feeling I just cautiously optimistic. I don't know if it will capture the same magic, but I will see it the hell out of it.
Yeah. It's like I don't think that was a story that needed a sequel or anything, but I don't. Also, if you had told me 5 years ago, like they're making Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, I'd be like, who fucking cares?
Yeah,
like I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I'm excited or not.
Yeah. I would have been like, oh, this seems like a stupid cash grab. Like we're making an animated movie. Then it was something a little bit different. That's one of the prettiest pictures I've ever seen. Is that movie?
It's a very beautiful movie.
Very beautiful. And the new one comes out tonight.
Wait, does it really?
I think so.
What are we doing here?
We gotta get the midnight premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Oh, we gotta put our hands.
Oh, I'm always trying to get I just want one of those stars.
I couldn't believe I went with Rumrow. Has he been on? Joe?
I know Joe. Yeah.
I went with Rumrow. Like right when I moved here, we saw the Sparks documentary there. And I was like, oh my God, it's real. Like the handprints.
Like yeah. Like literally, this thing that's in every movie is real. Yeah. Branson, how do you feel about Puss in Boots 2 taking Spider-Verse's FPS technique, but without any thematic motivation to it? I have thoughts on this, but you first, Branson.
Well, I'm happy to jump. I haven't seen it. I don't until I didn't know there was a Puss in Boots 1 until reading this sentence. So I'm as much as I love cartoons, I'm very picky about what I care about.
You're not a Puss in Boots head.
I guess not. I mean, I like Banderas as a performer.
Okay, here's the thing. Puss in Boots 2 kind of went hard as fuck.
Did it?
Me and Katie saw it in theater, and I was like, "This kind of is sick." Like it.
I can never tell because if you're saying that, that's definitely one thing.
Yes.
But I see stuff online
where it's like, "This is actually good," and then it's the most baby shit you've ever seen in the entire world.
I saw one a while ago that someone was like, "I'm sorry, no one's talking about this scene from the Paw Patrol movie," and I was like, "Oh my God." There are way more 11-year-olds online than I thought. Like, I gotta watch. I can't swear. It's like I talk about drugs and stuff like that. I feel weird now.
This one crazy scene from.
So to hear that that's good, I assumed it was like for babies. I mean, no offense to anyone. I just didn't.
No. I mean, me too. And then it was like enough people were like, the animation is like truly very good. It's very like taking from Spider-Verse. I mean, it's certainly there is a character who is a little chihuahua with big eyes who like no one likes, and like it is in that way for babies. You know what I mean? It's certainly way more for babies than like. Any movie for adults, but like, if you like good animation, it's worth seeing.
And I do. I will check it out. I'd love to develop a take on it.
I'd love to develop something for DreamWorks. I'd really love that.
I'd love to DreamWorks if you're watching.
DreamWorks, if you're watching, I've got some great ideas. I think we can do a lot with the Pinocchio character from Shrek that hasn't been told yet.
Puss in Boots 2 is one place ahead of Ordette on Letterboxd.
That's insane.
Top 250. I guess the people have spoken.
Yeah, we're Puss in Boots 2 heads. I loved it. I loved it. I couldn't if you were like, I want to watch a movie with sick ass animation, like it's a little bit like, do you ever watch Encanto, that Disney one?
Yes, yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is like a Disney movie. I was like, all me and Katie wanted to see was a movie with great animation, and it delivered 100%.
I watched it on a plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is exactly
perfect.
I just needed some bright images hitting me.
Yes. Don't I know people from there? No, I don't know if I know anyone that works at DreamWorks. Do you know anyone that works at DreamWorks?
I'm realizing now as I might have said something I shouldn't have said. Whoops. It's fine.
Nobody they know that it's the Paw Patrol thing. Where'd you stand? Should they gotten rid of the cop should they gotten rid of the cop on Paw Patrol?
Did they?
They didn't.
I gotta tell you, I babysat during the heyday of Paw Patrol. Chase is the cop dog.
He's
I'm very
hero,
familiar.
Right?
Chase the worst one. He's got no personality. He's just a cop. He's just the main one. He's like Leonardo or something.
I mean, he really he comes down hard on
he goes way hard. He's a real cop dog in the worst sense of it. Yeah. Thin blue line shit. But Marshall is the fire dog. He's the best one. It's comic relief.
Who's the lead?
The kid?
No, or who's the lead dog?
Chase is the lead dog.
He's the straight man.
And then there's like, that's the problem. They always make them. I hate when they do. They make the main character the straight man. It's like that's not Daffy is the main character. Porky is not the main character. You have the straight man react to him.
Exactly.
It's very basic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's. I mean, to Yosemite Sam on the cup. He's not the straight man.
So there's no straight man. You got Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam.
I guess Yosemite Sam is kind of the straight man there.
I think Bugs is the straight man if somebody has to be.
Yeah. Because Yosemite Sam he's shooting his thing and then it's getting, his thing's lighting on fire. All the things are happening.
I think a guy who goes, varmint! I don't think he can be a straight man.
Totally.
Chase got out his little red rocket and they canceled him for Oh yeah, that was a fucked up episode to watch with a kid. Can you imagine?
The lipstick.
Unpleasant.
I hate the lipstick, man.
Bugs is the audience substitute. The audience wishes.
Yeah, bro.
Bugs is the audience substitute. I mean, look, if you feel that way watching Looney Tunes, the world is your oyster.
And I would say you have delusions of fucking grandeur.
Maybe not. I don't. Maybe you're a president somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. Like that's incredible.
You saw Bugs and you're like, I'm going to run people like that as a child.
I think Daffy's the audience surrogate. Early on, it's Porky, and then later on, it's Daffy.
Where's Marvin the Martian fit into all this?
I can get crushed by. Oh, so there you go. Yeah, Stanktron, you're good to go. Yeah. You get crushed by pianos. You come out. Those keys are your teeth.
Yes.
You know what's happening.
Oh, I love that.
Marvin the Martian, I don't think is a straight. I think Marvin the Martian.
No, but I mean, just in general, where do you think he falls on all this? Just like. Where does he? On
what's happening?
Or on the global. But where do you think? I always found him a bit too strange.
He's a weird.
I didn't like him. I didn't like the Martian Queen.
Sure.
Her mouth was it was scary. It was too scary.
He's an odd little guy. He and Taz both sort of have this thing where it's like, because we're like 90s, right? We're like growing up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's fusions. Oh, thank you. He and Taz both are in like 3 shorts total.
Sure.
They're not in a lot of shorts, but they sort of get promoted.
Because they try and do like Duck Dodgers or whatever.
Yeah. They're all the shorts they're in are good.
Taz is only in 3?
Taz is in like 2.
Great. And he's sort of just like a random, this is some crazy fucking guy in a cage, right? Yeah. He's like he doesn't have like a personality. It's
just like Bugs Bunny goes to Australia because the thing is, there's a million, it's like Bugs Bunny goes to Camelot, Bugs Bunny goes to like the Arctic, and he'll meet like he'll meet like the sheriff of Nottingham or the guy that only shows up in one cartoon. And Taz just happened to become famous later. He's barely in any. But I think a big part of why he became famous is there's no other character like Taz who like does what he does.
Yes.
Because Yosemite Sam is always mad. But Taz will freak out, and then when he's not freaking out, he's extremely placid and he's very funny. And he has the big funny line everyone quotes for Taz is Bugs Bunny buries him he like buries him alive, leaves. Taz gets out and comes back, and the first thing he says to Bugs instead of screaming at him is, "What for you bury me in the cold dead earth?" It's a good line.
That is a good line. I like that. Cold dead ground. Daffy lived with Bugs, and like Lola is such a dummy character. I like that one.
No, the Dover Boys are only in that one. I think they're in like backgrounds of a few things
Dover
later,
Boys.
but they're only in that one short. It's so good. Cold dead ground.
Do you think that Taz got big also because they got people in the 90s kept putting him on those cool jackets?
Oh, yeah. He's the only extreme one.
Yes.
Because the thing...
Did you ever watch...
Punk rock hadn't existed yet, and so then Taz, right? And then it's like, we don't have any punk Looney Tunes.
Right.
Closest.
And he's the coolest one. Did you ever watch the show? There was a show on WB that was a Looney Tunes... it was like a one of the many offshoots they did where they were all kind of in the future and they were like a superhero team.
Oh, Lunatics Unleashed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Lunatics Unleashed.
Did you?
I did a lot.
Was that even possible? I thought it got canceled quickly.
I just remember really taking it a lot. But that was the era where like they do a season and then like even if it was like it get canceled, they're like, well, we're still going to show this a fuck ton of times. We're still going to fill up the fucking like every day after school.
They all have powers, right?
Yes.
It's like the future. So it's like, all I remember is Rev Runner instead of Road Runner.
And they all had, yeah.
And he had speed,
and
obviously.
Bugs was fucking hot. Yeah, and Bugs was like a badass. I love that shit.
I find Tweety to be a bit of a fucker. I agree.
Yeah.
Tweety rocks up top. Early Tweety is the funniest.
What happens? Why does he fall off?
So early Tweety is Bob Clampett's doing him, and he's a little naked. The idea is like a little bird is just hatched. It's completely helpless, and it's a psychopath. Right. And so he like wears a Napoleon hat and like murders cats.
Right.
Very funny conceit. And then as soon as Clampett leaves, Friz Freeling gets his dirty little hands on Tweety, and just turns it into like boring Tom and Jerry.
Sure.
So it's no good.
It's no good. Branson, I don't know about you. I'm finding it very hot in this room, even more than usual.
Oh, yeah?
Are you fine?
I'm okay, but please, I mean,
I'm going to open.
I'll talk about the Looney Tunes show. Tom and Jerry was fire. Tom and Jerry, incredible shorts. They're all good. There's Tom and Jerry's that are just gone forever that nobody will ever see, that are just lost. Yeah, MGM just didn't take care of them.
I'm going to grab some water. You take care of this, man. Keep talking.
Yeah, I'll hold down the fort. I hated Tom and Jerry and still do. It was so boring to me. I can't help you. I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I wish I could. It's like, it's your way to feel. God bless. I just wish I could. I've got plenty of excess Tom and Jerry love. I wish I could just scrape some off and like give it to you because I love them so much. The piano one's really good. And then later, Friz Freeling again, he ripped it off, and there's a Bugs Bunny short that's almost exactly the same as the Tom and Jerry short. I think that sucks. If you twist it, it might be just the thing. The Tom and Jerry movie. You liked the Tom and Jerry movies. Fundamentally, we don't speak the same language then, I think. And that's fine, but we just want different things out of that cat and that mouse. Because there's only two I'm aware of. There's the one that came out when I was a kid, where they like start talking to each other right away, and Richard Kind voices Tom, which is a good idea in theory, but in practice doesn't work. So right away they start talking, and then they're friends, and it's like, what's the point? Why do Tom and Jerry then? And then there's the one with Chloe Grace Moritz, right? That just came out like 2 years ago, which I did watch, and I just don't believe that you watched and liked that movie. Maybe you did. Please defend yourself if you did. I just got to know what the appeal was of that. I thought I like almost couldn't finish it. Tom has the sexiest girlfriend imaginable. That's true. We've all seen the clip, the viral clip, right, of him. He's the cowboy and he's smoking he's rolling the cigarette. Yeah, you've seen this?
Shit. I love that shit.
And the guy's narrating it.
That's one of the funniest clips online. That's a great fucking picture.
Oh, I'm only talking about the animated movies. Okay, that's completely... I take it back then.
Were there Looney Tunes movies? Don't get him started, folks.
Don't get me. There's a few.
There's a few. And they're not good.
No, there's really not a good one.
Was it like they were trying to make money by putting like a full movie you'd go see kind of a thing?
There's a few. There's one where there's a few where it's just a collection of shorts with a framing device, which is like honestly probably the best way to do it.
That's honestly better than them trying to do like Bugs Goes to Man. Have you heard the anecdote about Space Jam 2?
No.
It's really good.
Please, yeah.
This is a really, really good story that is I think the best sort of like
that,
piece of
Fantasy
Hollywood.
Island is one of the framing devices.
One of the best like sort of pieces of Hollywood gossip that I've heard. Supposedly someone told me, I think this is fine to say. I don't know any of the people who said it. So supposedly somebody went in to do punch up on where they were doing Space Jam 2. They go into the room. Every writer is silent. I guess the director or the head writer has his head in his hands, like he looks like he's about to cry. And the only words written on the whiteboard are, "What does Lola Bunny want?"
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's like it's really one of those things where it's like I think it needs to, you need to tell everyone you know about that.
I've got it.
What does please, like I think
circulate the tapes.
Like
you gotta talk about this.
It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Just a man truly driven to the end of insanity, and it's like so perfect because it like epitomizes. It's like truly a perfect moment.
What doesn't fucking want?
Yeah, exactly. She wants to be sexy Bugs. That's it.
Literally just like an animator of the 90s was like, oh, I bet I could jack off to this. Like, there's no...
Oh, God, my life is so fucked up at home. I got to draw Monstars. Let me at least make a fucking sexy-ass Bugs.
Could you imagine? The world is watching, and you've got to figure out something for Lola Bunny to say? That sucks.
Oh, God. It's so fucking funny. Did you watch Space Jam 2?
I did.
I watched like the first 40 and then it was joyless to the point where I was like, I just was like, I'm not going to keep watching.
I took the same thing away from it as I took from the 1930-31 movie White Zombie. Of just like, we have to be allowed to die. I think it is the cruelest thing you can do to a person, and like the Haitian mythology of like the zombie and what it is. We weren't not even allowed to die.
Yeah. It's like that's the cruel part is the punishment of zombification.
Yes. And totally. This is a movie. It's like at the end of the movie, Bugs dies. He has like a heroic sacrifice to save LeBron James's kid, who he doesn't seem to like very much.
What?
Like, he dies to save them, and it's like, Bugs died. Gee, spoilers. Come on.
Fuck. No. I was going to watch it this weekend. Fuck.
You had your chance.
Space Jam 2. He comes
back instantly. He's in the next scene. LeBron's like, Bugs, what are you doing here? And he says, you can't kill a tune. And that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Everyone involved in the original Looney Tunes are dead.
Really?
So why is Bugs alive? There's no Tex Avery. There's no Chuck Jones. There's no Mel Blanc. There's no Virgil Ross. There's none of the animators, none of the writers.
They're all dead.
Mike Maltese is dead. So what are we doing here? You know, it's like when the Rizzo guy took over for Kermit, and it's like that's
not right.
Kermit's weird now.
Kermit's weird now. We can kill Kermit. That's why we got to do Lunatics Unleashed, because that's sort of its own thing.
I do think Lunatics Unleashed has more artistic merit
than Space Jam 2. Yes. Because Lunatics Unleashed is like taking a classic hit, because I believe in this. I believe we're telling the same stories over and over again. Yeah. I think it's amazing. It's like we see Batman a million times, like that's the beauty of it, right? And it's like, yeah, so we got to keep making Lunatics Unleashed. We got to make Victorian Batman. We got to make girl Captain America. I mean, we got to get these characters and these movies, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I know.
Lunatics Unleashed, what it says to me is like,
it's not good.
It's not good, but it has something to say, which is Monster Energy drink is awesome. New metal will never die.
Sports is the same as being a superhero for some reason in the early 2000s.
Yes.
That's a point of view. That's point of view.
James Marsden sounds like Daffy Duck. That's but it's a point of view.
It's wrong. It's like Bugs Bunny is not supposed to be cool, but it's a choice. Yeah. And making choices in the way we tell stories is all we have, you know?
Kermit had a stroke. He couldn't help it. Is that true?
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
No.
Also, just watch your sodium. You can help it. Just don't eat so much sodium.
That's exactly right.
Sorry,
you can stop having a stroke. And you can
mid-stroke, just put the
and if
down.
you start having one, you can. If you're very calm, you can make it stop. A lot of people know that.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the one IP you'd want to work on?
That I'd want to.
If you have to get your little fucking grubby little hands, any of these great IPs we got going.
I'd want something. I would want to do something like what they did with Space Jam, or it's not Space Ghost in the 90s.
Yeah. I love that shit. You a big Venture Bros fan?
Love Venture Bros.
Huge fan. Obsessed with.
But I would love something like clearly there's no love for the original Space Jam or Space Ghost cartoon made by like the William Street.
Oh,
guys.
like take something that everyone hates and make it something people like,
or just something that nobody even cares about,
like Swamp Thing style.
Yes,
Alan
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's tough now because people lie.
Right.
It's not like they didn't lie before, but they now you can build an identity on like, no, dude, Thundercats meant a lot to me. It didn't.
No, it didn't.
I just don't believe it did.
And it's fine that it didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, or it's like you can like it and then it had no meaning. Like I really liked Beast Wars.
Same.
Fucking love it. I'm sure if I watched it, I'd be like, this is mindless drivel.
Yeah.
There was no artistic quality to Beast Wars, but it was fucking sick.
Tim Platt and we both liked Digimon when we were kids, and we tried to watch a Digimon episode as adults. And we were like, this is like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat.
I'm very about that about Power Rangers, which is completely goo goo gaga for babies. Like if you watch it, you're like, oh, this is like truly for like 4-year-olds in a crazy way.
I loved Animaniacs, and I think that holds up better than a lot of these things. But I tried to watch a 1993 Animaniacs recently, and I was like, I applaud my parents for not suiciding me. Yeah. It's very annoying.
It's very annoying. Do you feel like you have an intense knowledge of like late 80s, early 90s blockbusters because so many of those fucking cartoons that were on were just doing references to like movies then? Yeah. I feel like I'll learn about something. I think The Simpsons kind of has this with me too. It's like I'll learn about I'll like watch a movie. I'll be like, oh my God, it just places it like puts another sort of like block in my memory of like this palace of, and there's this,
What the fuck? I don't know any of this except like Digimon.
Animaniacs. Come on, man.
And this seems like this is probably an age thing. I'm ancient.
Though they did a reboot of Animaniacs.
They did, which I haven't seen. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good. Right.
I might as well hope.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's great. Folks, we're talking about pretty pictures here. This is a ripe topic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were on paintings earlier.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite painting or a favorite artist?
I really was obsessed in high school with these paintings that were at the National Gallery called The Voyage of Life. Do you know those?
Which are these?
They're 4 paintings.
Okay.
And it's like childhood, teenager, adulthood, and death. And it's I think in retrospect they're simple, but I was like obsessed with. They were like they hit my 16-year-old brain.
Then it works.
Yeah, exactly. It's very like the baby. It's like nurturing, and then the teenager idealistic. Like he sees like this giant cloud kingdom, and then adulthood. He's like in a raging river, and it's fucked up, and then like he's meeting death at the last one, and they're beautiful.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Did you have a favorite like painter or artist ever, or any? Who are your guys?
Who are my guys?
Yeah,
a favorite. I'm trying to think a favorite like painter. Jonan Vasquez, the guy that made Invaders. That's my favorite painter. That's good. That's good stuff.
Oh my God, have you been to like a museum and just seen like a Johnny the Homicidal Maniac painting up there?
Squee. They've got the Squee first print in the Louvre.
They have a bust of Gurr.
Yeah. Ooh. You wrote a letter to Craig McCracken, did not cancel Powerpuff Girls. That's very sweet.
That is.
Do you remember the thing where the guy drew himself in Powerpuff Girls? The guy who was an animator on Powerpuff Girls, and he drew himself in it, and they were all wanted to fuck him.
Oh, this happens a lot. I don't know about this one.
I
know about the Rugrats one.
Really?
There's a famous Rugrats story jam that's so fucked up. It's like Stu coming home and just like sexually assaulting his wife and the babies. And it's awful, awful, awful. It's not funny.
What do you mean story jam? Like they came up with it?
It's like the writers, and now it's not all the writers. It's some of the storyboard artists. It's shows would do this, and especially board driven shows, they'll do like just a story jam where it's like, anything goes, just sort of. It's like doodling. That one's like an infamous, like fucked up.
Well, it's in the reboot. It's like this dude, his name is like Sanjay, and people put together, it's like this guy's a writer and he wrote himself as like a really buff little kid that they all are like obsessed with. It's very funny. You should, it seems very up your alley. That kind of thing.
That's humiliating.
Yeah. And then to have yourself called out on it. And then like, I think he like got fired because it was like too weird.
Wow, to lose your job for being weird. Yes, I do know the Squidward suicide.
I was so scared of Squidward suicide.
They got in trouble because they referenced it on the show. There's an episode where they're doing something and Squidward opens a door, SpongeBob opens a door, and they very briefly see that like image.
Really?
Yeah, and they close it. And I gotta say, first time I saw that, I wasn't familiar with whatever the like creepypasta Squidward suicide thing is. And I was like, oh, that's just like a funny...
Because SpongeBob does that kind of joke, too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, it's Nosferatu.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of joke. And so it worked fine. But then knowing the backstory, it is like,
yeah.
I don't know, that's the place.
I don't like creepypasta, man. I don't think we should be reading that kind of stuff. I really don't.
Let's leave that for the pros.
I think if you can't handle that, I think some people can handle it, but some can't, and I can't. I don't think
you can't handle creepypasta.
I can't handle creepypasta. It's too creepy, man.
Is there a creepypasta that like fucked you up?
I really don't like Ben Drowned a lot. Do you know Ben Drowned?
I don't know that one.
A kid finds it's so.
Is this unpleasant for you? We didn't.
No. A kid. It's so funny to describe it because what I'm going to say to you is so not scary.
Sure.
But he buys a Majora's Mask cartridge at a garage sale, and let's just say it's not exactly what he expected.
That's such a like. Yeah. It's such a guy in the suburbs who's probably 17 being like, what's around me that I can make scary?
I go to a garage sale with my weird dad every Sunday instead of like him taking me to church or whatever. And that's the only one I'm allowed to see him. Yeah. Oh, God. Bart, dude. I don't know Dead Bart.
I don't know Dead Bart. Do you know the Where's My Baby one? It's like I don't know if it's like text. It's like a comic. I don't know if this even counts. It's like a manga or something or manga. It's like, this woman is walking alone late at night at like her college campus or something. She's near a hospital, and this woman with like bad, like impossible dimensions, like walks up to her, and her head's like turned backwards. She's like, "Where is my baby? I'm looking for my baby." And
I don't like. Even hearing about that, I'm a little creeped out.
Well. Ugh. And then she's like, I don't know. And the woman like gets in her face. She's like, "Where is my baby?" And she goes, she's over there. And the woman goes, "Thank you," and like walks off. And she's like, "Oh boy, I got to get out of here." And she hears from like 200 feet away, "My baby's not here." And then she hears the sound of this woman, this like horrible thing is like running like a spider towards her. And the last thing you see is it like hits the screen really quickly, and then it all goes white. And then you get a little bit of backstory that this woman like killed herself because her baby had been killed or something, and it was a ghost.
Why does that mean she walks all creepy though?
Because it's like her broken body from when she jumped off because
she jumped off a thing. Yeah.
They didn't show the actual Squidward creepypasta face, toned down silly version.
With a Squidward baby. Yeah, I don't want to see Squidward baby, man. That's something I'd like to bring back. I would. You know what I was obsessed with was the fucking Tom and Jerry kids, Flintstone kids. I loved that. Shit
Pup Named Scooby Doo.
Ooh, I love. That's like one of my favorite cartoons ever.
Muppet Babies.
Muppet Babies. That one was not on as much, but I watched a lot of Tom and Jerry. It's the Tom and Jerry kids. Tom and Jerry kids. Those guys were hard as hell.
That was fun because they had all the Tex Avery characters as little kids too.
Little babies,
Little Droopy.
Yes, Little Droopy.
Or it was like Droopy Jr. because like Droopy was still like a normal guy.
Sometimes it was. You're never sure if it was. Is it a son or is it
Ward
little guy?
Yeah,
it was always a little confusing. Like Ward. Yeah. But then Gonzo's just Gonzo.
Well, that was the Muppet Babies were just them.
They were just babies. Wait, who's Ward?
No, his ward.
Gotcha. I revisited the Chills YouTube channel recently. I was the foot lettuce guy. Please confirm they've watched that channel. I don't know what that is.
I will.
I was you know what Marble Hornets is?
No.
I think it might be a little after your time. It was a YouTube, it was early Slender Man shit.
Oh, okay.
It's like 99 part web series, like found footage thing. It's pretty good. Like a bunch of high schoolers made it.
Yeah.
And I was too scared to watch it in high school, but now as a big boy, it's not scary at all.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm a big boy.
We could turn the lights out in here and you'd be fine for
I
several
would
minutes.
be fine because the lights of the computer would still be on.
That's true.
That's interesting. The backgrounds glitched together, so now there's two going at once. Huh.
Is this like a Wild West town?
It's a Wild West town, but there's also a bank vault, but the bank vault didn't stop, so now it's the Wild West town on top of the bank vault. They've discovered oil, but they cut out the middleman. For a robber, this is an Old West robber like Jesse James, this is sort of a dream come true.
Oh my God. Well, let's make sure the coward Robert Ford is nowhere nearby.
I hate that bitch. Hate to say it, Luke, but Marble Hornet's still a bit scary. No, it is still scary. It is still scary.
I think all found footage horror is good.
What'd you think of Skidmarink?
I haven't seen it.
I thought it was scary.
I haven't seen it.
I think that movie, you think it's bad if you don't think it's scary, and if you think it's scary, you think it's good, and that's what it's based on.
I'm inclined to like it, just from what I know about it, but I haven't seen it. It just was, it's not even like I didn't want to. I just missed my chance and it wasn't in theaters.
Fun to see in a theater. A guy at the end of Skidmarink got up, and it was so funny. Do you know, one of my favorite things in the world is when a guy bombs in a theater.
Oh, I love it.
It's so funny. He gets up and you could just with so much confidence, he's like, okay, and I thought Avatar 2 The Way of Water was going to be the worst movie I saw this year. Nothing.
Of course.
He gets nothing. Like, not even a chuckle. People are averting their eyes, and he just sort of crumbles, and it's so funny. I love it when people bomb in the theater. It's so good.
I saw Snakes on a Plane in theaters, and there was some trailer beforehand that was not good. It was like some comedy, and it's just all the jokes bombed.
Sure.
And it was packed theater. You got to understand how annoying the internet was. If you think it's bad now, 2006, the internet was so annoying.
Yes.
And I was part of, I was there. I was like, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, God, that was one of the first really dude, we're all just viral stupid movies.
Yeah.
That's of course always existed, but then with the internet was around enough. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
we were naive enough to think, and maybe it'll be good. And Cobra Starship did the music. Yeah. How could they fail? And this trailer plays, I don't remember what for, it bombs. There's dead silence, and somebody in this packed theater goes, "Snakes!" And it killed. Everyone was just cheering. They remembered what we were there for.
That's good. Wyatt, I always love telling this story because it was so fucking funny. You know the Nicole Kidman ad.
Right.
And there's so many iterations.
Well, you did the Halloween costume.
I did the Halloween costume. I did the OG. But now it's people cheer for it, and then people get mad at cheering it. And I saw Wyatt do the funniest thing is we were at you've met Wyatt.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. We know, friend of the show, Wyatt Fair. We're sitting before a movie, and people, some idiots at the Americana are cheering.
Right.
And then this guy is like, "It's not funny. We've all seen it. Stop cheering." And Wyatt, just without missing a beat, turns around and goes, "Well, some of us haven't seen it." And it was so fucking funny. It just a guy indignant because he doesn't know the joke. It really made me laugh. I always think about that. It's one of the funniest things I've seen someone do off the cuff to a stranger, I think, in my life.
That's funny because another mutual friend of ours, Daniel, I think he has another one of mine where we were in what's the city you're in for Slam Dance in Utah?
Oh,
Park City.
Yeah.
We were in Park City for Slam Dance, and we were giving our IDs to go into a bar, and his ID's from Florida. He gives the guy the ID, and the guy goes, "Florida, right on. What's going on in Florida?" And Daniel he's just fucking with this guy, but really for no one's benefit. I don't even know if he knows that I'm overhearing this. And he goes, "Oh, it's awful. Things are fucked up. It's fucked up in Florida right now. People are dying. It's fucked." And he's not making a political comment. He's just fucking with a guy. And the guy nods and goes, "Right on." I had to leave. I had to run
so funny.
away because I was laughing.
So fucked up. That just reminds me. I was at I did a theater camp in like college, like a summer program thing. And I don't know why, but there was like this guy who taught stage combat and Tai Chi, and I really didn't like him. He was sort of a guy.
It's a type.
Yeah. I mean, he was sort of like barrel chested 50-year-old man who had white guy dreadlocks, but bald hair.
Yeah.
So I really don't know why I did this, but I kept telling everybody that he told us we can't do Tai Chi in the ocean or something like really bad will happen. And I was just like, nah, man, we can't do it in the ocean because it'll mess you up. And I told everyone this. And then the last day I wasn't there. And so someone brought it up. It's like, Luke said we can't do Tai Chi in the ocean. Why not? And we're like, really didn't? He was like, I would never say that. That is so fucked up. Of course you can do Tai Chi in the ocean. Doing Tai Chi in the ocean is one of the most beautiful things you could do on this planet. I cannot believe he would say that. And I think he was trying to have a talk with me, but then the camp ended. But
wow.
I think it's one of my best useless lies I think I've ever told.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with a guy, but not even fuck with him.
It's just why?
It's
like
just aimless.
Why would you do this to me? You know? Yeah. That's very what Daniel did to me. You know, it's like just fucked up. It's so fucked up. Right on.
And he wasn't shouting. I think it's also important that Daniel wasn't. Right. I am just so loud. It's like what Daniel was actually saying was,
he's a very quiet man. He's just so fucked up.
It's so fucked up. It's fucked up. People are getting hurt. It's so fucked
up. That's really funny. Well, folks, we got about 15 minutes left here. If you do have any other thoughts, if you want to call in, tell us about your favorite pretty picture.
We're listening.
I'm trying to do these. I've switched. I didn't used to have themes, but then I was like, I like themes. But then it's like I've been doing this 6 months. I've been doing the themes. I've already done all the normal themes.
I figured pretty pictures wasn't a first.
Yeah. It's sort of like, well, I've done like art. I've done, you know what I mean?
You've done art, and now we're doing pretty pictures.
Exactly. It's like I've done like the passage of time.
Wow.
So now we're doing pretty pictures. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like, but I push myself too hard coming up with themes. But that if we don't push ourselves hard in our artistic endeavors, what's the point of this?
Freak Scene, is that a Dinosaur Jr.? Is that where the name comes from?
This I don't know. Ugh.
Bats. It is. Okay, cool. Okay, great. I got what I wanted.
There you go. And a call comes in.
Of course, Luke doesn't know them.
Hello, call. I don't know. I know about Dinosaur Jr. Well, not really. Jay Masterson.
Jay Maskus.
Yeah, we know it. What's up, caller?
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Sam calling about pretty pictures.
Sam.
My good bitch.
Wow. What's up, man?
Hey, my good bitch. Hey, I had a quick question. I sort of just tuned into the stream.
Yeah.
Are trippy pictures on target for this, or are we just sticking to pretty pictures?
Are you talking about the magic eye pictures?
I'm talking about something that's very similar to that. Yeah.
Maybe like a Tool album cover?
Yeah, I'm recalling a specific experience that I had at a bachelor party where everybody was kind of doing kind of trippy things, and someone pulled up like a 35-minute YouTube video of like what can only be described as like a Grateful Dead like just percussion and tuning guitars jam, where it was like
perhaps drums.
It was like pure like freak out ambiance, and the picture that accompanied the like jam on YouTube was like a kind of like neon cube as like a base. And then like
I'm imagining it.
And then there was kind of like the Dead logo, and there were other sort of like trippy artifacts, and it led to a 35-minute long debate about whether or not this was the trippiest picture of all time.
What was the verdict?
The verdict was yes. It was the trippiest
picture of all time. Yeah.
But someone it kind of like raised the stakes when somebody realized that it looked even trippier if you watch the YouTube video through a mirror that was also in the room.
So you guys,
and we decided.
Sorry, no. I mean, you guys were sort of having like the most classic trippy experience. I mean, you guys are hitting all the hallmarks of a classic trippy experience, it seems like.
Yes, and it hit all of the sort of like the predictable conversational rhythms, such as, is the picture moving? It was not.
No.
Who even came up with this? Hard to say.
Wait, so it wasn't?
Been looking at it?
It wasn't changing. It was just the same still image.
It was the same still image, but the picture was so trippy that it seemed like it was moving.
I really assumed it was like an iTunes visualizer at the least. It was just a still image.
You got to understand about history is we didn't always have iTunes visualizers. The images had to be so trippy
that they could speak for themselves.
Static image used to have.
It moved. Yeah. My God.
The cavemen had to paint so trippily that they could create the moving pictures.
Oh my God. And that's how animation was born. That's so beautiful, man.
That's what, animation is just trying to recreate
the trippiest,
trippy Grateful Dead stage show images.
Anyway, I just wanted to call in and mention this trippy picture.
Well, I mean, Sam, thank you. I think pretty pictures are trippy pictures, and trippy pictures are pretty pictures. And I think you've done the Lord's work in calling that to our attention. So thank you, my friend.
But while we got you here, I want you to go with me on a journey here. You're at a Spencer's Gifts.
Mm-hmm.
You move to the back. That black light is on. Those posters. There's the rack of posters you're flipping through. Who's your number one? Number one, like draft seed. What's your pick?
What's my pick for like neon trippy pictures?
Yeah, like one of the posters that they would have back there. Like, for example, a wicked jester offering you a joint. Or a wicked Tasmanian devil offering you a joint.
Yeah.
I guess it's like, I don't think that this exists, but what I'm picturing in my mind's eye is it's the Tasmanian devil. He's smoking a joint. He is shaking hands with Jimi Hendrix. And they're surrounded by money.
Whoa!
Holy shit! Sick. So first of all, those two guys, to get them to agree on anything is insane.
Yes, couldn't be coming more different from the political spectrum. First of all,
that's really that's good. I like what Stanktron just offered, which is Cartman, respect my authority, offering you a blunt.
I like that.
That's really good.
I think mine is a classic gray, like Alien. Classic gray, cowboy hat, little red bandana. You know,
that's really
out on the prairie, but the damn UFO's there instead of the horse. He's got a big fucking joint in his hand. Man. Yeah, big fucking joint in his hand. Ooh.
Also, shout out. I'm reading the chat. Shout out to Freak C, who suggested 2 white women in underwear kissing on the lips.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fucking cool.
One of the coolest things you can see on a poster.
I would love that. They got to. Yeah, I like when you in like a movie where you see to show like a guy's really fucked up. You like open the little hovel or like parking attendant's booth he has to live in, and it's just like covered with pornography glued on the walls.
We should bring that back.
Yeah, let's bring that back.
Pornography set dressing.
Yeah.
I was just remembering that like 2 white women thing made me remember. I have like a core memory of having like being on the family computer in the living room and sort of like not knowing what really like what like porn was and being like a little bit like embarrassed to search for it. And my solution was to go to allposters.com and click on the college tab. And that gave me access to some like half moon butts, to some like girls kissing, and that really did it for me for a while.
And like beer pong triangles that you didn't know about, like holy objects.
A picture of Jim Belushi, or John Belushi in the college sweater.
And Jim Belushi, some according to Jim swag.
Whoa,
that's awesome.
You would have seen the butts, the Pink Floyd, the women sitting on the edge of the pool.
Sure.
Oh, that was consistently the number one seller in the college category.
You're biting your lip.
I didn't have to look too hard to find that one.
Unbelievable, and they sell that at the mall.
Wow. What does this country come to, really?
Anytime I go to someone's house and they don't have it, I'm like, you are a single car ride away from the mall.
Yes.
Buy it, and then I'll come back.
I had a roommate in college, and it's kind of mean spirited, but it really made me laugh. The first week he like went and got a bunch of posters. Like, this is freshman year roommate, completely random.
Sure,
yeah.
He's excited.
He got a bunch of posters, and we were in New York City, and he just got a bunch of pictures of the skyline and then women surfing. And he had like 5 different ones of each. And his room was just covered in just different parts of the Manhattan skyline, and then just like cool women surfing. And it really, I always think about it.
I think he went to the poster store and he was like, I need 10 posters, sort them by best selling. I don't have time.
Yeah. Well, it's New York, so first 5, boom, 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 boom. Then the next one get a little risque. Yeah.
You know, speaking of cruelty and roommates and trippiness, one of the cruelest things I ever did, but it rocks, I'm proud of it, was my roommate in college. He got Mondo high. He got the kind of high you only get in college.
Right.
Just like
scared
in his chair, just like watching the Arrested Development menu over and over for the DVD. just like staring at it like that. And I was like, oh, hey, his name was Wiggy. He's fine with me telling the story. I was like, Wiggy, what's up, man? And he goes, I'm too high. And I was like, Wiggy, don't worry. I got you. I'll take care of this. And so I texted all of his friends and said, Wiggy has a big announcement, but he wants to tell you in person. And so like 15 people showed up at our apartment, and I was like, he's just about ready. He's got everything ready for you. And I led them into the living room. I was like, Wiggy, everyone's ready to hear your big presentation. And he looked at me with like terror in his eyes, and he looked at them and he looked at me and he whispered, "You're the devil." Fucking got it. And then I had to explain to everyone, it's like, hey, sorry, I don't respect your time. I was fucking with my friend.
He's so high, I wanted to ruin his life. Oh, that's so funny. Oh. Damn.
I think that is like truly the funniest thing you could have done in that situation.
Yeah.
I got him.
And I just really have to point out, it's amazing that his name is Wiggy too. I mean, that's a really good name for that guy to have.
I love this guy. Great guy.
Yeah. Does he still go by Wiggy?
Yeah, I think he still goes by Wiggy.
Incredible.
I remember like my first week of college, it was like the day after we had watched one of those like, welcome week presentations where they're like, if somebody's too fucked up, like, don't worry about getting in trouble. Just like call an ambulance.
Right.
Better safe than sorry.
They're
and,
lying,
like,
by the way.
They are lying.
You get in trouble.
And then, like, literally the next day, I was like smoking weed with somebody, and it was like maybe their first time, but they got the same. It was like everything was fine, and then like a few minutes passed, and then within like 5 minutes, this girl had grabbed me by the shoulders and was looking me in the eye and was saying, "Take me to the hospital."
Oh, no.
I was like, I know that I'm in theory supposed to do this, but I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
And so instead I was like, we're going to wait 10 minutes. And I was in a group of like 6 people, and it was 5-1. We need to take her to the hospital, and me as the lone dissenting vote being like, I think we can wait this out for like 10 more minutes. And then she just like simply got hungry, and that was it.
And it was good. You waited.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was a real like war room situation for a moment.
It was really 12 Angry Men. You were really the dissenting vote. Is that what happened?
It was really 12 Angry Men.
That's what
Thank God for that. Would have been imagine how traumatic that would be to get like what is probably ultimately just pretty high and not even like Mondo high.
But you've just never been there before, so you're like, I'm dying.
And then you have to go to the hospital and talk to a doctor.
That would make you go in. That's so much worse.
You like saved her life.
You would go insane because then you're like scared, and then they're like trying to figure out if you like overdosed on fentanyl the whole time or whatever. Yeah.
And like based on how it like timed out, like she would have realized that the wrong decision had happened like on the way to the she would have been in the ambulance, just been like, this is stupid.
I need to leave, but then they won't let me leave, so now I'm just have to be here for 24 hours. Horrible.
Jeez, Chat, imagine being mega high and someone sticks an IV in your arm.
Horrid.
You saved her life. Jesus.
Horrid.
Yucky.
We had a thing at my college. This was during the orientation week where they were like, "Hey, college is stressful. if you're ever feeling stressed out, you can always stand up and shout, "Can I get a hell yeah?" And everyone's been through the same orientation as you. They will everyone will say hell yeah, and they'll give you that hell yeah, and that's a reminder that we've all got each other's backs. And I, like, not an idiot, was like, that's bullshit. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks later, I was in the library at the school, and somebody, sure enough, a freshman, stood up on a desk and said, "Can I get a hell yeah?" Long pause, and someone shouted, "Shut the fuck up." Never happened again.
It's also like, how could you, as the administrator that told you that, not realize that kid was going to get bullied like shit for that? You know, like, you've set him up for that.
It's a cruel thing.
Yeah, it's a cruel prank.
Don't worry, everyone, even though they didn't agree to it, agrees to help you out.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I'm sure they shut the fuck up.
Also, like, if that kid, like, I would have never said,
right,
but
like, course, yeah.
I'm imagining somebody who like is feeling like awful and stressed and overwhelmed, and for like an hour and a half in their head has been like, should I do the hell yeah thing? And be like, no, and then another part of them being like, no, somebody's gonna back me up. They said, and like working up the courage and be like, I'm gonna do it, and then just absolute devastation.
Just an older kid bullies the fuck out of you in real time. That's awesome.
And then I like to imagine they randomly tuned into this stream right now.
Right.
And, like,
and now,
well, luckily no one remembered that moment in my life.
Can I get a hell yeah? And then that actually makes them turn around on their life, and they join the clergy, and they actually have an incredible act too.
That would be great. I consider joining the clergy to be a successful.
We always see that it always turns bad, but sometimes I think those moments where you have to come into face to face with the worst thing that's ever happened to you, that actually creates Act 2.
That's true.
Yeah. And that person became the Pope's exorcist.
Bro.
Yo.
Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law. The young Pope.
Exorcist. Definitely confused the young Pope and the Pope's. Yeah, so Jude Law is like, he's hot and he's Pope's exorcist. I love that, man. I love that.
Sam, did you see it?
Did I see the Pope's exorcist?
Yeah.
I did.
How was it?
I had fun. It's like solidly like a maybe like I think 3 out of 5 is maybe generous. Mm-hmm. It's maybe like a 2, like barely over a 2.5 out of 5.
Sure,
it just gets there where you're having fun. But a fun thing that they do at the end of the Pope's Exorcist is, it's like hard to explain how they do this, but they basically suggest that there could be exactly 800 sequels to the Pope's Exorcist. They kind of like say like, and the Pope went on 800 more adventures, and they like name it in such a like crazy ambitious way.
But why 800?
Do they do like a James Bond? Like the Pope will return 800 times.
Yeah.
It was really crazy to like witness. It's such that it's like, it's so crazy that I can't even really remember how they did it. But I do know that they are making a sequel to The Pope's Exorcist, which is exciting.
I gotta ask, was it cool or scary or both?
Neither. It's not scary at all.
Funny?
It's a little more like, it's almost like it feels kind of like adventure-y or something.
Oh.
Where it almost feels like The Pope's Exorcist is this like sort of bizarro kind of like Indiana Jones type
that kind
character.
of makes me want to see the shit out of that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I'm being so generous to it. I'm just sort of trying to like
don't hype it up too much.
Kind of.
Yeah. And Fast 10, just really quick, Sam, before we let you go. Fast 10 rocked.
I had fun. Whatever. It's like I've talked to a lot of people who are like, fucking whatever. Fast 10 was what do you want?
It's
what
the
do
same.
You want from that?
It's Fast 10.
The scene
it's
like
the
right
same.
in the
There's
middle where he's talking to the dead bodies.
I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, I won't spoil.
Sam got the popcorn car though, and I think I'm going to do the same. At AMC right now, they're selling a popcorn version of Dom Toretto's or whatever his name's his car.
Oh, Dom Toretto.
Dom Toretto.
And I will say, Luke, if I support you so much, but you have to do what I did, which is walk into the theater being like, I am getting the car regardless of what it costs. Because when you find out what it costs, you might be convinced to not, and don't listen to that. You got to beat that part down.
Get the car. Well, the fact that it works, it has wheels and it goes, makes me nervous how much money it is.
I mean, it works in the sense that, yes, it has wheels.
yeah.
It's a popcorn car?
Popcorn car.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, great.
Popcorn car.
Sorry for the question. I got you.
No, it's a popcorn car.
Yeah,
and it has, but the wheels work.
car.
You would imagine a popcorn car,
work.
the wheels might not work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would imagine it's difficult to stay. It would be a car for an instant and then would just devolve into a pile. I'm imagining a car made only of popcorn.
Much like Dom Torello's car, it is sturdy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I would say rather than being made of popcorn, its purpose is popcorn. Does that make sense?
Okay,
it's a holder like maybe the green 1-Up mushroom or whatever they were using for. There was a Dungeons and Dragons one. Anyway, Sam, thank you for calling in, my friend.
Oh yeah, good chatting with you guys. Shout out to Wyatt. I see him in the chat.
Shout out to Wyatt.
Toretto.
Right. Take care, Toretto.
Peace out.
I like the Fast franchise because I legitimately think I don't know a single character's name except for Dom.
I was thinking about that in the most recent one, in Fast 10, Fast X. I was watching it. I've seen all of them at least twice.
Really? I've missed like 4, 5, and 6. I just did not see those.
That's insane. Those are like the good ones.
Really? Those are because I know those are the ones where it gets crazy.
Those are
I watched 3,
the best.
and then I picked it up with like 7 or 8 because I was like, these are fun to watch in a theater.
It's basically multiple trilogies. So it's like the first 3, or first 3 aren't really. They're just 3 movies in a row. And then there's like the Interior trilogy, and then there's a trilogy afterwards. Hello. And then I think they're starting this new with like the 10s, but the
trilogy afterwards, the ones with like Hobbs and Shaw. I saw, and then
Hobbs and Shaw
Charlize Theron and Charlize Theron's kind of the villain.
Yeah, it's just it's a mess. I like it, but it's a mess. But it's I've seen all of them multiple times. Some of them like 5 or 6 times, and I still in this one they were like, well, what's going to happen with Letty? And I was like, who is Letty? That's Michelle Rodriguez's character.
His name
Letty. Yeah. All of them are their actors' names.
Yes. I'm like, it's Ludacris, Michelle Rodriguez. Yes, exactly. They're all their actors' names. Okay. Well, we got to wrap up, folks. I mean, this has been incredible. Branson, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on anytime.
Yeah, I mean, this has been great. I mean, I really think we got to the bottom of pretty pictures.
Pretty pictures.
Yeah, I think you were the right person to have on for this.
I feel like these are some really pretty pictures we talked about.
We did. We talked about some incredible. You want Branson on again? I mean, look at that, Branson. You're getting another seal of approval.
I live so close.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, we won't dox you on air.
Travail is so sick.
I'm curious where.
How did that come up? Did we talk about it? Are we closing out to Rhythm of the Night?
I mean, one of the prettiest pictures. I would say the off-screen helicopter crash in Beau Travail is like one of my favorite things that happens in any movie.
Yeah.
I for some reason it really stuck with me. I was like, wow, it's so genius. I really believe that helicopter crash happened, but they did not have the budget for it. And there was something about
it. That's fine.
And it like worked so well. And I was like, movies are fucking amazing. It really got me.
Check out 35 Shots of Rum next. Don't mind if I do.
Sheesh.
I'm smitten and a fan now. KP Senti, okay.
We're gonna raid someone, my friend from college. How about that? You gotta raid people on Twitch. You ever use Twitch, my man?
No, that's not true. I used it one time and I had a bad experience.
Yeah. Someone was mean to you?
I got swatted. It just was.
I got the first time I went on. I wasn't even broadcasting. I got freaking swatted.
It wasn't even on. Branson, I loved your ska man character. Oh, freak scene! Wow, you're deep. You're deep in the lore. That was an old Brett Davis.
That's a Brett Davis
special.
Yeah. That's the first time. I think I've told you this. I think I told you this anecdote recently. Yeah. The first time I ever. Yeah. Anyway,
we were doing the gods, like we were the dark jesters.
Extremely fun. Okay, Branson, you have anything to fucking plug, dude?
Oh, yeah. You got to read Swan Boy. Go to swanboy.com.
Come on.
You can watch it. So it's a little show. It's on Hulu.
It's a show.
It was on FX. What else? You got Root Tales of Magic. I got a podcast.
This guy's hitting all the major forms of media in the modern age.
Yeah. Oh, I got a book.
You got a book?
Speaking of older ages.
We have the book in that room.
Hell Was Full. Get my book. Hell Was Full. You can it's available.
Don't buy lose other stuff. Buy the fucking book.
Buy the book.
Get the book.
These Those Stars of Space, another podcast I'm on. It's like a Star Trek parody that we
Really?
do.
I don't know about that.
It's so fun. I love it.
Really?
My friend Joe Laporte DMs
really
it. He's
fun.
so good.
Oh, it's like a okay. Well, I'd like to talk more about that because I'm very curious. I didn't know. It's like a D20 like system, but it's Star Trek.
It's this game called Lasers and Feelings, which is if you listen to Rude Tales at all, like we barely play
yeah.
It's a much better system for us where it's like you just get a D6 and you have a number between 2 and 5 and like that's it.
Right. It's like very like you're trying to do Star Trek, so there's probably not a lot of combat.
Exactly. It is for fuckers who don't read rules and want to improvise.
Totally. Okay. Well, on that note, folks, we're rating Meredith. She's a good person. Oh, I'm rating. Well, sorry guys. I'm literally rating right now. So I'm sending you all to my friend Meredith. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. I love you. Goodbye, everything now. I'll see you on. Okay, bye.
Bye.